pocket, okay.
No, actually, to open to get my computer.
Oh.
Especially since
Good morning, Los Angeles, and welcome to the City Council meeting for Friday, January 19th, 2007. We are here in John Ferraro Council Chambers, room 340 of City Hall, and we meet here every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m., except for the first Friday of the month, which we meet in Van Nuys City Hall in our efforts to bring City Council closer to all Angelenos. We invite members of the public to join us at our open meetings, and members can give general public comment or can give public testimony on items that are on our agenda for public comments. All items that we take up as a City Council either receive a public hearing in our council committee or here in full council. Our agendas are available online at www.lacity.org or by going to the city clerk's office here downtown or by picking up a council agenda in the back of this room, and we have council ambassadors, local high school students who can help you with the ins and outs of City Council, and the agenda is also posted here on the side of the chambers.
Nos pueden ver en la televisión también.
Also
por
have the ability to
teléfono
testify
también,
remotely from
y
Van
pueden
Nuys City Hall,
declarar.
even when we're here meeting downtown. So we encourage folks, if they live closer to our Van Nuys City Hall, to testify remotely from there. We are broadcast live on Channel 35 through the city's cable system, and we are rebroadcast in the evening. If you're not close to television, you can always tune in through the city's homepage, where there's live streaming web cast of our council meetings. Lastly, you can call in on Council Phone, which is an audio service to listen to either the committee or full council proceedings, and that number is 213-621-CITY, and you can listen to the proceedings if you can't make it down here to City Hall or to Van Nuys. I want to thank the council members who are here pursuant to council rules in timely fashion, Councilmember Rosendahl and Zine. We have a number of council members who are excused to arrive late on city business or are excused today. So Councilwoman Wendy Gruhl will be expected a little later. Councilmember Tom LaBonge is excused today. Councilmember Bernard Parks and Jan Perry are excused to arrive a little later. And Councilmember Jack Weiss is excused on city business as well. So I would like to ask Councilmember Cardenas to join us, please. Councilmember Hahn to join us. Councilmember Huizar to join us. Councilmember Reyes to join us. Councilmember Smith to join us, and Councilmember Wesson to join us. We do have some special presentations, as we do each Friday, honoring members of the Los Angeles community or notables who are visiting Los Angeles and some of our city employees who have touched the lives of Angelenos. We will be beginning those presentations in about 2 minutes with a very special guest that Councilmember Cardenas has brought from the San Fernando Valley that those of you who are fans of the show The Dog Whisperer will enjoy. So as soon as he's down, we'll begin the presentations. Thank you for your patience. Thank you all. We are now, we have Councilmember Cardenas with us, and Councilmember Hahn, Councilmember Perry, Councilmember Rosendahl, and Councilmember Zine. Councilmember Cardenas is ready to begin with presentations. They're on the way down? Okay. We will begin in just a couple minutes. Again, want to ask Councilmember Huizar to join us, Councilmember Reyes, Councilmember Smith, and Councilmember Wesson, if you'll join us as soon as possible. Thank you. I'd like to recognize at this time Councilmember Tony Cardenas for our first presentation. I know we've been joined by his honoree, and if I could ask everybody to turn their attention to the podium, and we will begin our first presentation with the Dog Whisperer.
Actually, they're pretty good now. I know. I know. It's like... I know. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I hate that. I mean, I just...
Everything okay, gentlemen? Everything good? Okay, got it. Thank you very much.
I ask everybody in council chambers to please direct their attention to Mr. Cardenas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Council President Garcetti and members. I just would at this time like to invite Cesar and Ilusion Milan to come up. It's my pleasure to invite them to stand with me today as we honor the dog whisperer, Cesar Milan. I need to share a story with you about how we met. As my wife was watching television, and we enjoy his show, and he has taught us so much through his show, that my wife said, you know what, Tony, you need to meet him. And so I called him up, and to my surprise, he actually came to my office and sat with me. And I was very nervous, and I started to explain to him that as a council member, I will be making motions and basically the local laws for the city of Los Angeles. But I don't know very much about dogs, and I don't know very much about domestic animals, and that I needed his help. He immediately welcomed my questions. He answered many of them. And as he inspires people to bring balance in their lives on television, to children, to their families, and to their dogs, he actually helped me bring balance to my life as a councilman. As I embarked on a motion that I didn't realize was a big deal, but it is a big deal. Because when I was talking to Cesar Milan, I said, I have to do more for animals in this city. And one of the motions that I moved was to create an animal cruelty task force in the city of Los Angeles. Basically what that is, a force of individuals who are dedicated to protect animals. In the city of Los Angeles, before this motion, we were a city that was about protecting people from animals, but not protecting animals from people. Lo and behold, shortly after we enacted this law in the city of Los Angeles, the Animal Cruelty Task Force actually had its first felony arrest. And they put this individual away for 3 years. He did some horrendous things to his girlfriend's dog. And we put him away for 3 years, and rightfully so. And shortly thereafter, I found out that the city of Los Angeles had not had a felony conviction on cruelty to animals for over 20 years. Ladies and gentlemen, what the city of Los Angeles was doing before that point, in my opinion, was condoning cruelty to animals. And that is going to be no more in this city. We are cracking down on that cruelty. Because of a meeting with a council member and a meeting with a wonderful human being named Cesar Milan, who inspired me to be a better councilman and to do more for the animals in our city. At this time, we have a video. Is it queued up? Is it ready? Okay. I'd like to roll the video, please.
The City of Los Angeles is literally going to the dogs for animal education. Today, Councilman Tony Cardenas announced he's teaming up with Cesar Milan, also known as the Dog Whisperer, to create an animal cruelty awareness campaign for kids.
We are putting the clamps. We are going to put a leash on animal cruelty in this city.
My dream is to share the knowledge that I was born with the rest of the world. I love what I do.
We teach behaviors at early age because we don't want them to get hurt. But we're not teaching good leadership skills to our children to be in control of our own dogs.
Milan, whose celebrity clients include Oprah Winfrey and Hilary Duff, is adding to his list of duties. While running his dog psychology center in Los Angeles and producing his Emmy-winning show, The Dog Whisperer, he will now assist Councilman Cardenas in designing curriculum for schools and rec centers to teach kids about animal cruelty and pet responsibility.
So here we are today, a collaboration of people here for the animals and the people of Los Angeles.
Milan is hopeful the program will deter kids from animal abuse, which can be a serious sign of other problems to come.
There is a correlation
The person that will abuse a dog will abuse a person.
There was a person who was convicted and sentenced to up to 3 years in prison.
Putting a leash on animal cruelty also means putting a leash on other crime. Studies have shown the correlation between animal abuse and violence against human beings. In fact, in one national survey, the majority of women seeking shelter from domestic abuse also reported that their spouse beat and abused the family pet. As a matter of fact, Milan approached the city council on implementing the school program after seeing LA's animal cruelty task force put away a gang member for 3 years on a felony charge of abusing the family pet. Ironically, he had previously only served 6 months for battery of a police officer.
Thank you very much. As you can see, much still needs to be done, but once again, the reason why I wanted to bring Cesar Milan and Ilusion forward is to thank them on behalf of the city for their inspiration and for their talent. And in addition to that, I think it's important for me to take a moment to thank my wife Norma for inspiring me to pick up the phone and to call Cesar and to begin this relationship, this friendship that we have. And in my opinion, I think that this is just the beginning of what we're going to see from the Milans on what they're going to do in educating our children and what they're going to do on bringing balance to the city of Los Angeles. So at this time, I'd like to invite Cesar Milan to come up and say a few words.
Thank you. I normally give seminars, but this is an amazing feeling. It's a very overwhelming feeling to me to be in front of you, being inside this incredible building. I have no words to thank the support. Tony and I have become very good friends, and I think together we can definitely influence America. We're going to start with LA, but to influence how to fulfill dogs so they can become balanced, and we can stop aggression. We can stop people being attacked by dogs. I think that is very possible. We just need to do exercise, discipline, then affection on a daily basis. And we have so many dreams. We have so many things to accomplish, and I really want to bring my wife this time so she can share what we're going to do for kids and older people.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to be here and speak in front of all of you. It's such a privilege, and we're very thankful for that. We do have some plans of opening up a nonprofit and making it available to the public for people to come and learn about rehabilitating themselves and their dogs, because we feel that the intimate connection that we have with animal is also with us and others. So we feel that this would be something to look forward to and create, and we're going to start with the city of Los Angeles, and then move outward and hopefully take it nationally and one day international. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm very proud to say that Cesar Milan, and for those of you who watch the show, don't be offended, Cesar Milan trained my wife and rehabilitated our dog. We have our dog Mocha here today. They gave up on me. But one of the things that I'd like to share with Angelinos is that in getting to know the Milans and talking with Cesar Milan came to this country as an immigrant, and his love for this country and his love for Los Angeles is tremendous. And the giving that he does, that we see on the show, is nothing compared to who he is in his daily life. And I just wanted to say once again, the Milans are just getting started with their efforts to bring balance to this city and bring balance to this country. And for those of you who've never watched the show, you probably think I'm nuts. But those of you who have watched the show, you know the power of this man, and you know his abilities, and you know that he will make a difference to many, many people. So thank you so much for having the Milans here today. And before we give them their certificate, I think we have a few
council members who want to add their good wishes too. Mr. Huizar, and then Mr. Rosendahl, and then Mr. Reyes. Mr. Huizar?
Thank you, Mr. President, and it's great to have you here, Cesar. My wife loves your show. She doesn't miss it at all, and Tony, Councilmember Cardenas, is doing a wonderful job in ensuring that we have wonderful, beautiful pets. In fact, I now own the sister of Mocha. Her name is Coco. And because I didn't have the luxury of having access to you, Cesar, mine is not as well trained as Mocha. But thank you for the work you do. I think what you're doing is not only showing us the respect and love we should have for our animals, but also just showing that here in this country and in Mexico, where you're from, where I'm from, we also are building those relationships. I'm also an immigrant like yourself. So thank you for all the work you do. Such beautiful work you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Rizar. Mr. Rosendahl.
Good morning. You know, when I first got Rosie, my dog, I didn't know what to do, so we went to training. And every time we would hop in the car, the dog would sit right next to me, and it knew what was going on. And then I realized that dogs do communicate to us, and we can communicate back. I actually believe there's sort of a telepathy that you create and a relationship that you create. And another guy told me early on, never yell at your dog and boss it around. That's ridiculous. Whisper to the dog. And I heard you got a show called Whispering, which is quite interesting. Because I basically, with Rosie, who just passed on, she was 11 years old, it was such a relationship. And I can tell you, as a human, having an animal in my life has done more for me and making me a better person than I can conceivably imagine. So I'd like you to just share with us, if you could, a couple of tips for those who haven't seen the show and for those who have dogs who are trying to say, because I have a dog named Lulu who's Rosie's pup, who's a bit over the top. What advice do you give someone? What are a few tips that we should use right now going forward in our relationship to our dogs?
Well, that's very kind of you. That's right on my alley. You know,
or my backyard.
Well, one of the thing that I teach everybody is to see a dog from who he is, and not to try to change their identity. So how I see dogs is animal, dog, breed, name. How my clients see animals is name, breed, human. Which changes their identity because a human wants to make them human. So it's very important to fulfill their needs. After we understand this concept, it's very important to give exercise, discipline, then affection. This create a balanced dog, and at the same time you create that intimacy with them, emotional intimacy with them. But it's extremely important for them to feel themselves and to feel they have a purpose in life. Exercise and discipline. As you see, dogs have done a lot for me. I am here because of dog.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. I mean, I'll be more personal. I let the dog come up into the bedroom and either sleep on the bed or at the side of the bed or walk down the hall. I don't leave it outside at night.
Yes.
Like some people do.
Right.
Doesn't a dog get hurt if it's left outside in a cage and is not part of the family going for? I know the thing about dog hair and all of that, but the idea of the dog being with you.
Well, you know, we can do a show from here. Well, you know, to me a dog is a pack-oriented species, which means he's part of a family. So being outside, that means he's not part of a family, he's just part of the outside world. So it becomes more like an object than a family member.
Right on.
So invite him to the bed is ideal for him not to invite himself to the bed.
Right.
So then he owns the bed.
And then those people who do the domestic work, and I do my own, and you know, they say, oh, you got dog hair. So what? Right? Clean it up. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Rosendahl. Mr. Reyes.
Thank you, Council President. I had the privilege of meeting Mr. Milan earlier up in the tower reception. I want to thank Tony for putting this together. And then I was just sharing some thoughts of my sense of pride in seeing how, in this day and age, when it's so easy to tear at communities and at people with immigrant bashing, that you can rise to the point you have and deliver a message that just deals with common sense, peace, and love, and relationships. And how I wish that we can bottle what you have, the message, the feeling, the emotion, that we can put that out there for all our young people and folks who are being mistreated. Maybe this city will be a different place.
I believe that.
But I think you really have allowed us as a society despite our income group, despite the color of our skin, despite the country we're from, that it really is about communication and love. And that's what it boils down to. And for that, I thank you for the message. And hopefully that continue to grow and grow with time. So best of luck with you. Best wishes, you and your dear partner, in making this happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just to show how much people want Cesar Milan services, the dog whisperer, a little earlier, our council president Garcetti met him, and Councilman Garcetti basically alluded to the fact that, can you teach me how to get the council members to listen the way you get the dogs to listen? He's not a miracle worker, but he is the dog whisperer. So with that, I'd like to give this resolution to Cesar Milan and his wife Ilusion and his team for their wonderful work and their commitment, and I truly do believe that this man and his team are going to inspire not only this city but this country, and I do believe that the world is not limited on how much he will influence all of us and make this world a better place. Thank you so much for joining us today and accepting this resolution on behalf of the City of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Cardenas, and Norma, and Mocha, and Cesar and Ilusion. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, the special presentation. Our next presentation is an equally special and notable person in our community, and for this I'd like to recognize the council member from the 10th District, Herb Wesson Jr., who will be joined by the mayor for our next presentation. While we're waiting, real quick, Madam Clerk, will you just call the roll, bring us officially into session?
Cardenas, Gruel, Han, Weezer, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Smith, Weiss, Wesson, Zine, Garcetti, 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Wesson.
I know I want Jan. Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues, and I believe at this time I'll be joined by the great council member of the 9th District, Jan Perry. Members and ladies and gentlemen that are here in the council chambers today. Mr. President, bang the gavel.
Folks, if I could just ask, hold on one second.
I want to be able
if I could ask the guards to
hear
assist
myself
us in moving folks forward and making sure that we can hear Mr. Wesson for this important presentation. Thank you.
I truly believe that laughter is one of the most important elements in our lives. And entertainers bring tremendous gifts to us. But I submit to you that there is no form of entertainment that is more difficult than being a comedian. A comedian has to touch, reach, and read their audience. It's not like a singer. If you're doing a bad show, you can always go back and play one of your hit records. There's no such thing as a hit joke. Laughter is everything. We have before us today one of the kings of comedy, Mr. Steve Harvey. But we do not honor him today for his comedic genius. We honor him today because he is a man that realizes that as you move up the ladder of success, that you stop, turn around, and that you pull someone else up with you. A lot of entertainers think that their gift to us is their art, is their craft. Mr. Harvey is one of the few that believes that he wants everybody to have a chance at a better life. He has done tremendous things for schools throughout the city of Los Angeles, in Janice's district, in Jan Perry's district, in my district, throughout. He's recognized that there was a need for books. He started the Steve Harvey Foundation and helped try to provide children the resources they need to succeed. He has charity golf events where that money is raised and again donated to the youth of Los Angeles. We talk about turkey giveaways and toy giveaways. He has massive giveaways. And now that his new show is syndicated, he is doing this throughout the United States of America, and I think he's deserving, and I ask you again to give Steve Harvey a round of applause. Not because of his comedic genius, but just because of the wonderful human being that he happens to be. In the back of council chambers today, we're joined by the LAPD recruiters. Many of you should know that the Steve Harvey Show is the largest media outlet that they advertise, recruit on to try to attract minorities and women. And another thing that I like about Steve, and a lot of people don't know, is that he believes, like we go into all of our offices, we all have plaques and awards and things of this nature. He believes that the everyday person should be honored. So he created something called the Hoodie Awards. They are neighborhood awards for the best barbershop, the best beauty shop, the best carpenters, the best plumbers, the best restaurant. In fact, Wendy Gruhl and her husband and I were at Harold and Bell's in my district where they proudly display their Hoodie Awards. He even has a category for elected officials in the Hoodie Awards. And if you come to my office, you will not see one. The man spent a significant part of his life in the city of Cleveland, Ohio, which is a city that I was born in, the city that Councilwoman Jan Perry was born in. So the three of us are kind of from the same hood. But I say to you, it's one thing for us to go watch their movies, and Lord knows he's been in enough, and to buy his CDs or DVDs, but for us to recognize him for the things that he's done as just an ordinary human being, I believe will be very, very important for him. To let him know that we appreciate what Steve Harvey, the man, has done. I think he will appreciate that. And I was on his show this week, and he asked me if he was going to get a key to the city. And I told him the last brother to have a key to the city of Los Angeles was Tom Bradley. With that, I'm going to ask my colleague from the great 9th District to say a few words. Let's give Councilwoman Jan Perry a round of applause.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wesson, and I don't think it's any small feat that 3 people from Cleveland are standing up here. Maybe it's the way that we were raised. I was born in Glenville. I think you were Lee Harvard? Lee Harvard, okay. And you were 112th and Superior, you said? All right. Well, this is our home now, but we brought those values that we were taught when we were growing up out here and share it with the people that we represent, both as elected officials and as on-air personalities. But Mr. Harvey is a special person. He's an extraordinary person who has created extraordinary circumstances and has not forgotten from whence he came, and has the ability to share that with the people who might not even know him. And so for that, it's a real pleasure to be able to stand here and thank him publicly, even though he's wearing an Apple hat. Is that an Apple hat? Is it original?
Keep it real.
Keeping it real, huh? Okay, all right. This is what he does. So, say from one former Buckeye to another, thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hahn would like to add her good wishes too. Councilmember Hahn.
Thank you. I just wanted to rise and also really give my thanks to Steve Harvey. And thank you, Councilmember Wesson and Councilmember Perry, for honoring Steve Harvey today. I had 2 early on when I was elected interactions with Steve. One of the first ones, and it's appropriate that we just did the cruelty to animals event earlier, but I will never remember, I walked into my office one morning and they're like, turn on the beat because Steve Harvey's talking about you. And we were listening, and he was doing a show on the dogs that were terrorizing and running wild in my community of Watts. And the callers were just saying how it had gotten completely out of hand. And because of that show, and then he allowed me to come on the show and talk about what we were doing. But as a result of that show, I got the Animal Services Department in Los Angeles to finally begin to focus on Watts and on a problem that really was a public safety issue with those dogs. And a lot of those kids were scared to walk to school because of that. So that show brought about a huge change in how we tackled that issue of wild dogs in Los Angeles. And the other, which I will always be grateful for, in 2003, it's hard to remember, but we had a 100-year storm that actually dropped snow in Watts. And it actually flooded people's homes, displaced people, and it was quite a tragic situation in Watts. Federal government wasn't really helping at that time. State government couldn't help. But Steve did a show, and actually did a live show out in Watts, where one day we were begging people from all over Los Angeles to help bring food and clothes and help people clean out their homes. And it was amazing what your show was able to do and what you were able to do to bring people's focus on a could have been quite a tragic event, but ended up bringing people of Los Angeles together. So I'm happy to honor you today, Steve. Thanks for your good work.
And along the way, Mr. Harvey has made a lot of friends, and I'm sure he's proud to say that one of his dear friends in elected office happens to be the mayor of the greatest city in this country. And I'd like to have our mayor, Antonio Villaraigosa, come up and say a few words on Steve Harvey Day.
My goodness. Here we are today, celebrating Steve Harvey Day. I like that. I'll tell you something. You know, we all know Steve Harvey as a celebrity, as someone on the radio, but I can tell you, a radio personality, but I can tell you, I know him as a guy who cares. We first met when he used his celebrity on the radio to say that we need books in our classrooms. Our kids need desks. They need clean bathrooms. They need support. And I'll tell you, when I saw him and heard him on the radio engage in that kind of an effort to rally the city around the Compton schools and the LA Unified schools, this was a guy who touched my heart, because when you see celebrities, they don't always put their celebrity to the kind of use that Steve does. And so I think it's very fitting that we acknowledge him today, that we thank him. We're glad he's back. We're glad he's back. And I was actually on the first show.
Yeah.
I was on the first show. And with Santa Claus, I came with Santa Claus too. I want you to know, and I brought presents too. I want you to know that. So we're really happy to be here and to acknowledge, and I want to thank Council Members Wesson and Perry for sponsoring this resolution announcing to the world this is Steve Harvey Day in the city of Los Angeles.
With that said, Mr. Steve Harvey, it is an honor to present you with this resolution from the greatest city on the planet. This resolution is signed by every city elected official, from the mayor to the controller, the city attorney, and every member of the council. I won't read it. You can read it at your leisure because it's a lot of stuff, but I can assure you that it's good stuff. It is my honor to present you, proclaim with the mayor and the council's blessing, January 19th, 2007, Steve Harvey Day. Wait a second, Jan. Come on, Jan.
Two.
And just one more thing again, please.
See, that's for Jet, though.
Yeah.
That's for Jet.
And lastly, the first ever Herb Wesson Guardian of the Community Award I will present to Steve Harvey. Will you another one? Jan?
It's not made out of plastic or anything.
You want-
Turn the bird thing, the bird man.
She wants to see the bird
The
thing.
bird man around. Turn the
like
bird
that.
man around.
The bird thing. All right. Okay, that's good. Okay, it's only 3 photographers. That's good. Okay.
I'm gonna get the staff. Could you hold this while he gives his
staff
address?
today, brother.
No, they're there. They're there. Here. Steve Harvey, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to say, first of all, thank you. And really, I mean that. This is quite an honor. You know, you start off like Herb and Janice, and you come from Cleveland, Ohio. And not a lot of good things get said about Cleveland, and you finally escape, and you come out here to a city like LA, and you make a name for yourself. That's pretty special. I turned 50 Wednesday, and that was a big day. You start looking at life a little bit different when you're 50. You pay attention to commercials and stuff that you never really used to pay attention to. The clap on, clap off commercial. I'm starting to really think about how effective that could be in my life, because I don't really feel like walking over to the light switch anymore.
And it's just it's a great honor. I got a couple people I got to straighten some things out with. First, Miss Hahn, who was having the dog trouble in her neighborhood. I didn't mean to create such an uproar on the radio about it, but since y'all just had the dog whisper on a minute ago, you probably don't have to worry about that problem ever again. So that'll be straightened out, and I apologize for all the trouble I created in your office about your dogs. And then I really want to just thank everybody. You know, my mother raised me in a way. She raised me in the church. You know, oftentimes I don't sound like I'm from the church at all on my radio show, but I have a great background spiritually. My mother raised me with the understanding that God makes you a blessing to become a blessing. And if God gives you something, you've got to give something back. I don't know how many times y'all talk about God in the politics of stuff, but I mean, God is big. You know, he's the reason I exist today. You know, I didn't get from Cleveland to here on my own. I'm here because of God. And so I just try to always say that in front of people, because people think you reach a certain status in life that you did it on your own, and that's not true. I've struggled with trying to become who I am today. You know, I've been on a different road before, and God just helped me, and he straightened me out. And so when I came to Los Angeles, it was just an opportunity to give back, and I ran up into so many helpful people like Herb Wesson and Janice and Jan and the mayor here, who really would just listen to me with things I wanted to do and would just come on my radio show and make it happen. So, you know, I've stood on a lot of people's shoulders to get recognized like this, and it's not just me. You know, I have a great staff of people. I have a great manager, you know, but without God, none of those people exist. You know, people, I keep saying it. I'm not going to take a lot of time. I just like to say that the school situation in here in LA is still leaves a lot to be desired. I don't know who decides what school gets money. I don't know how it's allocated. I really don't understand the politics of it all. I don't understand how if you're in a poor school, you get less money than the rich school. That if that makes sense to you, then cool. But if that don't sound right, something's got to be done. We've got to change the educational level of our children if we want this city to be a better city. It's all to it. You know, we just got to make brighter kids. We just have to make brighter kids and get rid of some of the other options. When you don't have education as an option, you have nothing else to do except get involved in something that you have no business. And when you create a lot of dropouts, you create a lot of kids with no hope. And once you lose hope for the American dream, you want to participate, and you end up doing something you got no business doing. So that's what it'll always be about with me, as long as God let me wake up in the morning. I hope I get 50 more years. I really want it to be. I was thinking about dying like when I was about like 116 or something, because there's a lot of people I'd like to say something to as I get older that I'm not able to now for political reasons. But when I'm around 60, I'll have a lot of things to say to some people. You might want to tape it. It'll be really a big show. I want to thank y'all, everybody, really. I really do. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. This is big for me. My staff thanks you. My manager, Rashawn, who's always with me with ideas. And we just thank y'all, man. This is big. I mean, I'm 50. I got a key to the city. I know it don't turn nothing, but... And I know I don't really have a key. I know Tom Bradley, the only one with a key. That's nice, but it'd be kind of nice to make another one, you know, and just give me a key. But I'll take the day. That'll be big. I'm going to be shooting for free money on Steve Harvey Day, no school, no work, and just mayor for the day. Mayor for the day. I'll change up. So thank you all, really. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
Here comes Jan Hahn. Come on, girl. Come on in there. Say dogs. Say.
All right, council members, we've been requested we have a group picture, and if the mayor will stay with us, please.
Okay, we're gonna take a group.
Okay, thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Helped me a lot, I know. The dogs.
Now recognize Mr. Garcetti for the next presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and again, thanks very much to Mr. Wesson, to the mayor, and to Mr. Harvey for joining us here today for this special day in Los Angeles. I'd now like to invite forward a man that we know around here as the Budget Whisperer, Bill Fujioka, who had his last official day on the job, though he's still technically on the job, last month, and I know many people wore, was it pink shirts? Purple shirts? No, pink.
Pink shirts.
Pink shirts. In commemoration, in a meeting in December, his staff and many members of the council to commemorate somebody who it is difficult to imagine this city and City Hall without, Bill Fujioka. Bill Fujioka, who's known around here, or I said William T. Fujioka, who's known around here as Bill or Fuge, recently left the city of Los Angeles after 10 years of distinguished and memorable public service. He is somebody who has guided this city through some of the most turbulent times, through some of our greatest victories, and somebody who embodies the ideal of public service, I know, for everybody around here. We can't say everything that we said last night, Controller Chick, can we today? But we had a wonderful retirement dinner last night for Fuge, in which we recounted some different stories and experiences we've all had with him. But let me give the kind of official record today, and I know that my colleagues will want to add as well some thoughts. Bill received a 4-year full academic scholarship to attend UC Santa Cruz and was a University of California's President's Scholarship for Academic Excellence, graduating cum laude in 1974. He says because it was the 70s and it was Santa Cruz, he doesn't remember much, but he still did well. He is a local boy, grew up in Boyle Heights. He was referred to more than once last night as a vato. He's not sure whether he's actually Japanese or Latino. He's a little bit of both. But he began his storied career as an intern with the Los Angeles Police Department in 1974, working for a lieutenant named Bernard Parks, I believe. And he was promoted soon after to junior administrative assistant. He left the city for some reason, we don't know why. He thought the county would be a better place to work in 1978, and worked in the Department of Personnel from 78 to 85, and the Chief Administrative Officer from 1985 to 86, Department of Health Services from 1986 to 1995, and worked in the Department of Human Resources from 95 to 96. While at the Department of Health Services, he received commendations from the County Board of Supervisors for outstanding leadership, dedication, and hard work, and in 1994, for outstanding leadership in addressing the management deficiencies at High Desert Hospital. His work at Long Beach Comprehensive Health Center and High Desert still today is talked about as among the best that the county ever saw. But then he made the right decision and came back here to the city in 1996. First as our general manager, the personnel department. And let me say, last night somebody made the point, there are very few people in this town that do make that switch back and forth between city and county, and do that seamlessly, and are loved on both sides of Spring Street. But Bill is one of those unique individuals, and we are so glad to have him back. He was appointed the CAO by the mayor and confirmed by the council in 1999. We have the strongest city in America fiscally, the strongest big city in America. It's not something that we made up as a title. Wall Street says that year after year after year with our AA bond rating. As we see other cities and counties go bankrupt or be in debt, we here in Los Angeles have done an extraordinary job. Bill Fujioka has been that guardian of the budget. Across administrations, as councils change, as budget chairs move on, he has been the one constant in these last few years. And he received the Distinguished Budget Award from the Government Finance Officers Association, his peers, for the fiscal years 2000 to the present. That's an extraordinary record that deserves a round of applause right there. He was the city's team leader during, remember secession just a few years ago? He was the city's team leader, preparing all the reports and looking at everything during that traumatic time, literally being some of the glue that kept this city together. While there was a political fight that was being fought, Bill Fujioka looked at some of the administrative, financial, fiscal issues and really was the glue that helped keep Los Angeles united. He gave objective and thorough analysis to LAFCO, the state controller, and outside parties. He led the city through 9 budget seasons, despite the obstacles placed in front of him by certain departments who constantly felt his wrath and ensuring that there are no more than 829 changes to the budget at any given time. And Bill is the best, as he said last night, at getting us excited about projects that he finds for us to fund by stealing from our other projects. He gets general managers excited by getting all sorts of money that he then later takes away during the year. He is brilliant at making sure that we're all happy just before he takes it away. He has the respect and admiration, too, of an extraordinary staff that really is a reflection of him because he's built the CAO staff. And last night he said, what I have done is because of them, and I know that he'll say that more. But let me just, that's the official stuff. Let me just speak from my heart, because last night I kind of gave more of a roast of Bill. In a place where there is a lot of political intelligence and there's a lot of book intelligence and policy intelligence, I think the rarest quality in City Hall is social intelligence. And I cannot think literally of one person with more social intelligence in City Hall than Bill Fujioka. Because oftentimes you have people with good intentions who have different ideas of how to attack a problem, and it takes somebody with an who's extremely socially intelligent in the way that Bill is, to take us aside, sometimes knock our heads together, sometimes entice us to the right place, but guide us to a place where we can come together and do what's right for the city, and where personalities can kind of melt away, and where policy and doing the right thing comes to the forefront. He's somebody who sets the standard as a father, too, and I know that his son Jason is here. He's had a lot of the Bill Fujioka retirement tour in the last couple of months, so I know this is the last stop of the tour. But he's an extraordinary father to his son, and part of the reason that he is leaving the city family is, the mayor said last night, is to be able to enjoy that time with his son as he becomes a young man and goes on in the world as well. So with that, we want to, I know probably every single council member will want to add his or her good wishes, but I want to thank you on a personal front for being such an extraordinarily good friend. Your sense of humor is unparalleled, building on those top 10 lists that Lisa Gritzner first did and that we did during budget time. He's somebody who can always take you aside, and when you think things are so serious, he can remind you that there's human beings in this room, that there are personalities, and that we're here to enjoy ourselves as well as to do extraordinarily good work. So God bless you, Bill Fujioka. I cannot imagine what it's going to be like without you, and we know that it's not going to be without you because you are going to be regularly called upon to solve some of our toughest problems here in Los Angeles. Our former CAO, please give Bill Fujioka your love and respect.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Garcetti. We have a number of members wish to join the kudos to Mr. Fujioka. First, Councilwoman Gruhl.
Thank you very much, Mr. Smith. And I spoke last night, so I won't repeat any of the things I said last night, other than what Eric mentioned, is that Bill was much more than just a CAO. He was a good friend. And the fact that I enjoyed the fact that he could balance his work life with his family life, and told me so many stories about his son. Sorry, I won't repeat them and embarrass you, but they were all pretty much good, about how proud he was of you and your trips to around the city that you would go and learn about. I don't know if it was every weekend or once a month, but you really, I think, demonstrated what it means to be a good parent as well. And I think that your staff behind you, although may not call you dad, but they probably felt you were just like a parent to them as well, because you nurtured them and you worked with them, and that you did come up with creative ideas and had a great sense of humor through all of it. We could call you up and you would tell it like it was, and even a few times, not on purpose, but you used a few foul words on the, I won't repeat them either, during budget hearings on the microphone. But your opinion was always well known. But we will sincerely miss you, but we know that it is you will not be far away. You're only a phone call away. And I know you've been enjoying, what did you say, you're working out 3 days a week. We said you looked kind of buff and relaxed. So I hope that continues. But please, I know some more of your family members have joined you today, but you are certainly an asset and will be remembered as one of the great CAOs here in the city of Los Angeles. Congratulations on your retirement, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gruhl. Councilmember Zine.
Thank you, President Smith. Bill, why is your mama hiding behind you? Where is she? Good morning. I saw you this morning and said hello to you. Last night was a wonderful event for you with your family, with your brother, who you stabbed when he was a youngster. I was in the back with Mr. Harvey, so I don't know what comments were made prior to coming out here. But I've known you for a long time, Bill. I've knew you when I was with the LAPD. And you've survived, a number of mayors. They're gone, you're still here. 3 mayors. That shows the dedication to the people of Los Angeles. With the elected officials who have always supported you, your candor, your ability to get things done, your ability to negotiating table, and your laugh, which I've never heard a laugh like that in my life. You have a unique laugh. Can we hear it one time? There you go. I know that your love for your family, your love for the people, love for your son, and we've talked about retirement and the future and what it holds for you. I've got your number. I'll be calling you as a friend, not asking you to help resolve a contract. Other people are going to have to do that now. But all that you have done for all these many, many years, and for your family to witness it, for your mom to see the success that you have become, not only with the city of Los Angeles, but the county of Los Angeles, and your brother Fred, who is a Superior Court judge, to see that. And when Fred was moving toward that direction, your love for your brother, you helped make that happen. You came forward to help your brother, which is what families are about. And you'll always be a part of the city family. I wish you well in retirement. You are a good man, an honest man, a credible man, and a good friend. God bless you, and many happy retirement checks, Bill. You deserve them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zine. Councilman Cardenas.
Thank you. We had a dinner last night for Bill Fujioka, and it was very, very well attended. And I just wanted to say a couple things that I said last night. One of the things that I joked with Bill Fujioka about it was in these chambers just a couple of months ago before the break that we were in a very heavy discussion about something that's very important with the city. But the thing that people didn't see when Bill was saying what he was saying and what I was saying, and we were going back and forth, and people might have thought we were mad at each other or what have you, after he got up from that chair, we gave each other a hug out of respect. The one thing that I want to tell you, Bill, is you have earned so much respect from people around here for your professionalism. And I'll tell you what, you have degrees, but you didn't get that in school. You got that at home. So I just wanted to say, Bill, you have a wonderful family. And I know your mom's tougher than you. I heard the stories. I heard the stories. And to have a brother who's a judge, it is such a wonderful family, and you've given so much to this city, and your expertise has brought us a long, long way where we need to be. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for your expertise and your professionalism. You're a wonderful human being, and thank God that you grew up in a tough neighborhood, because you can handle anything. You've handled this city, you've done your job, and you really know how to balance what you do, and not very many people can do that. So God bless you in everything that you do, and you're leaving at the top of your game, and that's out of respect for you and how balanced you are as a person, because I've talked to you about how the relationship with your son and how important you realize that is. Too many people in life go around thinking that their job is too important. You know your job isn't too important. Yes, it's very important, but not too important. So God bless you on your decision. God bless you on spending more time with your son. And I know we're going to see you soon, because you set this place on fire, and I'm sure you got something kindling around the corner. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cardenas. Councilmember Rosendahl.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, I learned a lot about you every day that I've been here, and I've been here 20 months now. First, let me say that when I went through the budget process last year, my first time as an elected official representing the people, and your honesty, your integrity, and your fairness was exhibited to me. You know, I have no agenda on this stuff. I want to do what's right. And you always gave me insight and information. And frankly, there wouldn't have been that unanimous vote out of the city council. We love the mayor. Mayor's great, 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 great. But if you hadn't done what you did to lay out options for us, including discussing how homeowners have been subsidizing the trash pickup, the city has been, and we need to capture that money for the police. If you weren't in that position all those years and didn't have the integrity and trust that everybody around this horseshoe has, you know, we wouldn't have done what we did last year. So I just want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, your integrity, your balance, and decency means a lot. Secondly, just the other day, we're here in the afternoon, the place is packed, and it's the gang committee. We are the gang center of the planet, the epicenter of the most outrageous actions happening among young kids to each other. And you came up and testified about the white fence gang that your father had been a member of. And you took us through your own personal experiences with gangs, and obviously after-school programs, jobs, decency and dignity to young kids is really the solution. And you shared that with us here. So you're all over the place. You're a Renaissance man. You're a true person who believes in community. And as we just got our list of when the budget hearings are going to be starting in March and April, I know you're smiling because you don't have to sit up there and do it. But guys like me who are still on the learning curve are going to be calling you, and off the record, I'm going to be asking you, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Give us some insight, because that's all what it's about, is helping us be more effective elected officials. Thank you for making me a more effective elected official. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Rosendahl. Councilmember Reyes.
Thank you, Council President. First, I'm going to share with Bill that last night I went much farther than I anticipated with a constituent in my district, an elderly woman. Between that, going to downtown, and then going to a homeowner association, I knew I wasn't going to make it. But I was thinking Bill would understand that, being from the neighborhood, being our work that we have to get done, that I could not enjoy that great dinner I heard about last night. But today I do want to say to you, Bill, that as a person who has seen the changes from Keith Comrie, I think Greg just reminded me, I think it was McCarley for a split second, and then yourself as CAO, see the changes you implemented in this city everything they've been saying already about your ability to deal with folks, it's also a true reflection of what changes we've had in the city. To have a person that can come from the neighborhoods we come from, to understand these issues and the breadth of knowledge you bring to it, not just from the books, but from the streets, and actually address these issues in the manner that you have, has really taken us a long way. I just take a deep breath and wonder who's going to take your place, because that's a lot of institutional knowledge. If we already have someone stepping up, well, you guys better suck it up, because you've got a tremendous CAO person here that's done a lot for us. So I just want to take a moment and say thanks to you, thank your mom and your family for lending us Mr. Fujioka. I know we all get through pressure points our own different ways, but can't forget one day I was walking to Staples, dealing with some issue in the community, and I see Bill walk through the parking lot going to the Clippers game. This is when they were losing. It's my team. I think he was by himself. And I was saying, where are you going, Bill? He goes, I'm going to the Clippers game. I go, why? They always lose. Because I'm a Clipper. So this is the kind of motivation, dedication you have. And this is the kind of commitment he's shown to the city, to the staff. To the staff, thank you. You guys, I always say this, but I say with all earnesty, you are the unsung heroes. We know you're burning the midnight hour, the can of the midnight hour. We know you're pressured for those numbers. And without that reliability, this city wouldn't have the respect it has, not only in the economics, but also in the financial worlds. And it's because of your stewardship. So thank you so much, Bill, for everything you've done. And I'll be missing you, and I know you're only a phone call away. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. Councilmember Weezer.
Thank you very much. You know, I got elected as a council member just a year ago, and people told me I should go see Bill. If you want to learn about the city, go see Bill. So I did. I set up a meeting, I took all my new staff, and we sat down, and I started asking about the different departments, and what about this department and that department, and Bill pushed all that aside, and he said, how's Boyle Heights? How's Boyle Heights? And we started reminiscing about the great community that we have in Boyle Heights and East LA, and you reminded me about the great community we come from, and I could see a connection there about how proud you are to come from that area, what it means to you to come from a neighborhood like that with a lot of tradition and history, but also with some challenges to work for the city. And that's how we connected. And as I sat through the last budget hearing and process, I recognized how much you know about the city. It's just phenomenal that every time an issue would come up and everybody would be looking around trying to find out if anybody knows about this issue, what it means, or how much dollars is going to a program, you would always have the answer for that. It's the city's loss to see your retirement, since you have so much institutional knowledge and also a personality that brings us all together, especially in the tough times that we're going through the budget. So, Bill, I know we're still going to see you around here. We know you have a lot of love for the city. The city has a lot of love for you. And Boyle Heights is proud to say that you're one of ours. Thank you so much, Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Weezer. And if I may take the privilege of as closing the council accolades for your service here. When you came here, you had very big shoes to fill. You had the reputation of C. Irwin Piper and Keith Comrie, two giants in the field, not just here in LA, but giants nationally in the field of leadership and fiscal controls of a city. And you filled that very, very well and took it to a whole nother level that I'm not even sure you realized you had the potential of doing when you got here, but you did. And you left us, as I said last night, a stronger city and a better city for it. And if Mr. Marks was here, I know he would bring up once again the financial controls that we have put in this last few years here at your urging has made the city of LA financially sound and safe for decades to come. And people that will serve in this chamber may not even know your name other than seeing it on a wall somewhere, but in future years, what they will be dealing with here was a safe city that's financially under control and in good shape because of what you did while you were here, and you left a very, very large footprint. I want to thank you for that. I got this one telegram we just got in. I wanted to read it. I looked at it. As I look at it, there's absolutely nothing here I can say publicly other than the signature is Sincerely Bob Aquino, so we'll forget that. But you've left a large footprint here, and I, for one, appreciate it, but I also looked at you over the many years I served with you as a chief deputy as well as a council member as a friend. And when I know you're leaving this building, but you know I will be calling you as a friend. I want you out to the Northridge Pool. We cut the ribbon on that because you helped us make that possible, and we're going to take you and your son to an SC football game because you keep asking me for tickets, so we'll make sure that happens. Thank you very much for your service. We're very proud of you. We also, and now pressing his button just got back, Mr. Wesson.
Thank you, Mr. President and members of the council. I can say that I'm probably, that I've known Bill more than anyone else in this building, and I've known people here for over 20 years. I remember when Bill and I first met was about 1978, 79, and we worked together for the County of Los Angeles. I was a CETA worker. So the federal government, and I think Bill was too. So our whopping salary was like $791 a month. Who would have thunk that years later that you would turn out to be one of the greatest CAOs that the city of Los Angeles will ever have, plus a dear friend. In the County of Los Angeles, whenever there was a health concern or a very, very difficult project that needed to be done, we'd always go to Fuji. That's what we called him, Fuji, and Fuji would get it done. I can remember when your son was born and when he was this big, and now he's bigger than us, which is not much of an accomplishment, but he is bigger than us. And I'll end with my favorite Fujioka story.
Oh, no.
Before I met my wife, we were working on Beverly Boulevard, and there was this very beautiful young lady. And I was going to ask this young lady out for a date. I didn't know that Fujioka had designs on this young lady as well. So Fujioka comes up to me and says she just got a divorce and her husband is a 6'5" gangbanger. So I never asked her out for a date. 2 months later, they're dating. No gangbanger, no ex-husband. That shows the creativeness of the CAO that we have in this city. Bill, I love you. You're a dear friend, and I wish you well. I love you, man.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wesson. And now the man of the hour, Mr. Fujioka.
Thank you very much. You know, Councilman Wesson, I go to see him when he's a speaker. We're meeting with a bunch of big city managers. He tells the same story. He's never forgiven me. It's been it's almost 30 years. But it worked, you know. I'll keep my comments very short, but I do need to recognize the woman that is most important to me. People heard me say the comments last night that everything I am, everything that I ever became or thought I want to become, and things that I was able to get away from is because of this woman. This is my mother. Everyone knows the values of mothers, and I say that very briefly. And if you look at people and who they are and what they are, you look at the mother. Briefly, if you have the pleasure of meeting Eric's mother, you know why Eric is the person he is. And his warmth, his integrity, the way he interacts with people, you just see it in his mom. Gil, you know, I love Gil, but you see it in his mom. But very briefly, you know, it's what I'm all about, and what I want to say very quickly is just public service. And I told people last night that no single person does anything. It's always the sum of many parts and the sum of many actions of many different people. Behind me are the folks of the CAO. I love these people dearly. There's nothing that I did alone. Everything I did with these people. And then behind those people are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people in the city. And oftentimes you see, at different times, someone will question the quality of our work and the quality of the job done by the public servant. But that same person who questions turns on their light, or takes a drink of water, or drives over our roads, or goes to our parks, or their kids enjoy our recreational programs, or they call 911, or they have a fire problem or a paramedic problem. At that time, we're excellent, we're heroes. But I gotta tell you, public service is the love of my life, and it gave me the love of my life in just so many ways. And it is something that I hope you all value, because when you come up with the ideas, the people behind me help put them together, the people out there on the street help make it happen. I said something very briefly. When people asked me, what have you done? And I said, nothing. But with the women and men of the city of LA, I got to do everything. But so thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. I love this city. For each one of you, this council, we have our personal relationships. We got to build things, which is wonderful. We build things throughout the whole city that will be there forever. And we also have programs that are helping a lot of people. But each one of you, I offer you my respect, I offer you my thanks, and it's time to go. Thank you very much.
On behalf of a grateful city, the mayor, the city attorney, the city controller, entire city council, EAA, Margie Reese, Commission on the Status of Women, all your friends here in the city of Los Angeles, we present this, which we will frame. We're getting the last signature today. It's the smallest, this unframed but suitable for framing at your own expense. Now that you have that cushy retirement check coming, William T. Fujioka, God bless you and thank you for what you've done. We should do a well shot of everybody. I know we've done one today, but if there was an appropriate occasion to do a shot with everybody, let's go down here and we'll take a shot with everybody.
So ordered. And Mr. Garcetti, number 2.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I know it's been quite a morning with some really amazing presentations, retirement of one of the most loved people in City Hall. But I did want to make a very special presentation that I know a number of different council members share with me very strongly the 4-star winners. And Mr. Wesson, would you join me for this, for the WorkSource Centers? Our chair of the Housing, Community, and Economic Development Committee, Mr. Wesson, and I together wanted to recognize this year's 4-star performers, the folks who are helping Angelenos get jobs when they lose jobs or are switching industries, are the ones who are being able to find new ways to get back in the workforce, and just extraordinary folks that Mr. Wesson and I wanted to congratulate today. The Community Development Department does this each year, and we have a number of folks who are with us, some who have won in past years and some who are new as well. The Chatsworth Northridge WorkSource Center, which I know Mr. Smith cares very deeply about, Matthew Lynch, the Executive Director, is operated by Built Rehabilitation Industries, being recognized as a superior performing service provider consistently since 2003. They have won this award. This will be the 3rd consecutive year that Chatsworth Northridge will be recognized for their extraordinary work. Give them a round of applause.
You want me to pass out?
Sure. You want to do the next one?
I'll just pass
Okay,
out.
okay. All right. So, Matthew Lynch? Oh, no, it's Jorge today. Exactly. Congratulations on that. Next one is Hollywood WorkSource Center. Steve Magallanes, operated by Managed Care Solutions Incorporated, have been recognized as a superior performing service provider consistently since 2003 as well, and this is the 3rd consecutive year that they're being recognized. Next is Southeast Los Angeles Crenshaw WorkSource Center, and Bob Nelson is the Executive Director. This is operated by UAW Labor Employment Training Corporation, and this is the 1st year that this center is being recognized.
Won't be the last.
It will not be the last, as Mr. Wesson just said. And South Los Angeles WorkSource Center. Anna Maria Eros is here, the Executive Director, operated by Community Centers Incorporated, also a first-time 4-star performer winner. I want to thank her. Out of Sun Valley, Corinne Sanchez, Executive Director of El Proyecto del Barrio, is here. The 1st year that this center is being recognized, and she's been a great voice of getting all the WorkSource centers together and helping each other out to become better and better performers each year. In Mr. Reyes' district, Westlake WorkSource Center, run by PACE, the Pacific Asian Consortium in Employment, and Carrie is
Right behind you.
right behind us. A friend to many of us, Carrie Doy, the Executive Director, and El Proyecto del Barrio, OneSource service provider for the North and South Valley, also won for its 4-star performance, the 3rd consecutive year that they've been recognized, and the 2nd year that the South Valley has been recognized. With that, if Mr. Weston would like to say anything for the WorkSource centers.
Basically, I just want to ask the people that are still here today, let's truly pay our respects to these great WorkSource centers and give them the type of round of applause they deserve. Thank you so very much.
And we want to thank the great work of the Community Development Department, who does the work to make sure in a time of fewer and fewer resources for workforce development that they keep standards high, that they get people into jobs. And now that we got a Democratic majority, that might help, here in Congress, we can hopefully stem some of the bleeding and bring some more dollars back to WorkSource Center. It's been a bipartisan thing that Republicans and Democrats traditionally over the years have been in favor of, but we know that though we have the lowest unemployment rate since 1974 here in Los Angeles, or 73 county, we need better and better jobs that pay higher for the middle class. So congratulations to these great WorkSource centers. Thank you to all of them for their patience, and thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Garcetti. Next, Councilwoman Perry.
I'm sorry, guys. We'll take. We'll come this way. We'll take.
Corinne.
If I may, while Councilwoman Jan Perry is getting ready for her next presentation, I'd like to take a moment to present a dear friend of mine, a dear friend of Mr. Tony Cardenas, Mr. Rosendahl, but Tony and I had the honor to serve with her for 6 years. She was one of the most effective and strongest state senators I've ever had the pleasure to serve with, and now she is a partner of the law firm of Manette Phelps. So I tell you, your stock, which was always great, has just gone up even more because you have Marta Escutia. Let's give Senator Escutia a round of applause.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I would like to present to you some very special and exceptional students from Santee Education Complex. They are joined here today by their band director, Mr. Michael Tram, drum instructor Albert Rivera, and of course their very special principal, Vince Carbonneau. Today we have David Guevara, Diana Garcia, Edwin Tomas, Jorge Milan, Jorge Morales, Jose de Jesus, Oscar Rendon, Tashane Scott, Walter Flores. And it's an honor to present the Santee Drumline. Over the last year and a half, we've had the pleasure of listening to what is to be considered, or what is considered, the very best in the Los Angeles Unified School District, the Santee Drumline. I've had the pleasure of witnessing them play at the football games with their great upbeat tempos and rhythms and infectious school spirit. This began when 3 students with a vision approached the principal about starting a drum line. The Santee Drumline almost didn't make it because the new high school was not equipped at that time to provide the students with the necessary tools to start a drum line. But with persistence, the drum line was created. And so I want to commend Principal Carbonneau, the Santee Drumline, for their perseverance, their exceptional performance, and their passion for music. And congratulations and best wishes for your continued success. And with that, you're on. Okay, gentlemen, whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready. I'll do it in the back. No, I'm going to do it out here. It takes too much time. Okay.
Ready?
Very good. Wow. Thank you, thank you. That was absolutely breathtaking. And, you know, your fierce devotion, your concentration, your desire to learn, and your already demonstrated skill for such a new group is impressive. And I have to tell your principal here, you know, we're going to make an effort in 2007 to make sure you guys get out to some parades. As a performing group, you are just exceptional. I'm very proud. I'm so happy we asked you to come in today, and thank you for your patience. And Principal, if you'd like to say a few words about your students.
Last year in January, I had 3 students come into my office and say, can we start a drum line? And at that time, we didn't have any equipment, and we basically had to go out and borrow. And from those 3 students, we now have a drum line that when we go to football games, people don't come to watch the football, they come for the halftime and to watch the drum line. These students show that it's not just the academics that determine how exceptional a public school education can be, but the whole child and all the skills and talents that they bring forth. And every day, this is what we try to devote ourselves to, developing the whole child. Let it be the drummer and the academic excellence, which is what all these students demonstrate.
Thank you. That is Principal Vince Carbonneau and the students from the drum line of Santee Education Complex. Please give them a big hand.
Thank you, Councilmember Perry, and if I just may say, I think that's a drum line that can challenge many colleges and universities that I've seen too. Excellent, outstanding. I believe you can be joining them, Ms. Perry and Ms. Gruhl as well. Thank you.
Please hurry. Okay.
All the kids? Oh, no. All the kids? The family? Come on, we'll invite the kids up too. Can the kids come up too? All the kids? Thank you, Mr. Smith, and it's my pleasure today, and I'd like the family to come up as well, to make a special presentation, and I know Ms. Perry is going to come back and join me as well. As many of you know, we have a wonderful child care center called the Joy Picus Child Care Center. Come on up, don't be shy.
Oh my gosh, what is this?
And I saw the kids really enjoying the drums. Did you all like the drums?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were jumping up and down. Well, you know, sometimes we need to bring a family and kids into to City Hall, and many years ago, I actually worked for Tom Bradley as we were creating the Joy Picus Child Care Center for many kids who either are city employees or other government employees here in the city of Los Angeles. And it's been a wonderful place, and there's been an extraordinary woman who's been there for 16 and a half years, who has been, I think, a dedicated employee to that center, and we wanted today to be able to acknowledge her. The center's been open 19 years. She's been there 16 and a half, so she's really been a stable person there and these kids. And you can just look at the wonderful faces of these kids, and I think you've probably enjoyed your 16 and a half years.
Yes, I did.
And I know as a parent whose child just started at preschool, people like you, Nora, are so incredibly important to our children. You help them grow, you help them learn, you help them become compassionate, and to understand about getting along with others. And so I really appreciate that and wanted to present on behalf of my colleagues to Elnora Granada, also known as Nora, in appreciation of your 15 years of dedication and service to the children and families of the Joy Picus Child Development Center. We wish you many years of continued success and happiness upon the occasion of your retirement. So on behalf of all of them, I just want to congratulate you, and it looks like there's someone else who wants to give you a plaque before we let you speak. Please, go ahead.
Thank you. Teacher Nora, you've been a big part of the Joy Picus Child Development Center for the last 16 years. And also a quick thing about Teacher Nora, she really embodies the passion, the commitment, and the nurturing that we really deserve our children to have. And she's been a fundamental part of the program. Teacher Nora, we really hope on behalf of the Joy Picus staff and all the children that you enjoy your retirement. This plaque is from the program as well. So that's for you.
Thank you so much.
Let's give her a great round of applause.
For everyone, this is really a very big surprise for me. It never occurred to me that I am part of this program. And Teacher Bello, he said something before that, I'll do something for you, but Teacher Bello, please, I'm going to hate it if you do something for me, because I just want it to be a low-profile thing for my retirement. But he really did something, and I'm so honored and grateful for all the families, everyone, the parents, our children, and my family. They're here too. I don't even know that they're here. My family's here. Thank you so much for everyone, and this is a great honor. Thank you so much.
And Teacher Nora, I had a visitor up to my chair. Teacher Nora, I had a visitor up to my chair this morning, Sammy, who is Allison Becker, my planning director's son, and I said, is Teacher Nora a good teacher? And he said, yes, she's a very good teacher. So it's the best endorsement you can have, and thank you for all that you've done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Here.
Oh my God.
We want to go back and take a picture back there with all the kids. Can we take a picture maybe back there with all your kids?
I didn't know. I never knew.
Did we surprise you?
Ms. Perry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to call Hamid Badad and his family to the podium, please. Thank you, Mr. President. It is a pleasure to stand here with this fine individual and honor him, and his name is Hamid Badad. Over the years, many of us have had the pleasure of working with Hamid and getting to know him better. And I can tell you in my office, we worked with him on an almost daily basis to help and bring all the new development, the adaptive reuse, to downtown Los Angeles. He has an extraordinary background, 30 years of experience in teaching, engineering, research, design, construction, code enforcement, and project management. He is also a registered professional engineer in the state of California with a bachelor's and master's degree in structural engineering. Early in his career, he was recruited by the County of Los Angeles as a civil engineer. In 1999, he began working in political office by joining former Mayor Richard Riordan's administration, and in 2001, former Mayor James Hahn appointed him to serve as director of the Adaptive Reuse Program in his Office of Economic Development. And then again in 2005, Mr. Badad also joined Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa's administration, overseeing all real estate development projects in downtown Los Angeles. His tremendous dedication, skill, and hard work have earned him the name and title of czar among those who have built projects in downtown Los Angeles. And I wanted to commend him for his service, his vigilant supervision, his exceptional performance, and his ability to deliver, as well as for his passion for adaptive reuse, which I believe has helped to reshape this city now and forever. And with that, I'd like for you, Hamid, to recognize your wife and son, and just to say thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Before you speak, Ms. Perry is not the only person who'd like to add her good wishes, so hold on, please. And Mr. Smith, Mr. Reyes, Mr. Huizar, I would like to also say some kind words.
Thank you, Mr. President. I had the pleasure of meeting Hamid many years ago when my wife worked with him in the mayor's business team. And from that meeting, we became very good friends. But more importantly, I watched this career of a man. He's one of those guys that nobody knows other than Jan and a few people that have the downtown area. And his name's not in the paper very often, very rarely. He's one of those what we call faceless bureaucrats that went out and did an incredible job. And what you did with adaptive reuse probably contributed more to the rebirth of downtown LA than any one city employee possibly could have done. It was amazing what you did. You grabbed that tool and you went out and made it happen and made it work in a way that very few people will ever really understand, except those of us that work here in this building, and can say thank you to you, because we are getting the accolades of giving a rebirth to downtown LA. And it was what you did with adaptive reuse had more to do with that probably than any one single action. And so I just want to congratulate you. I know I say for my wife, Chris, congratulations. We enjoyed your friendship, and we enjoyed so much your glee when you had your baby. And our friendship was a good friendship. And I thank you for your service to the people who will never really know your name, unfortunately. But those of us here, we know what you did, and we will remember that for a long time. God bless. Thanks.
Mr. Reyes.
Thank you, Council President. I want to echo my colleague has just stated, Councilmember Smith. And I still recall when we were first doing the adaptive reuse, it was just east of downtown. And we passed the ordinance and went citywide. And I remember you working with all the different departments and just saying, well, how are we going to do this? And you just made it happen. When we did the 1100 Wilshire, that was a big statement, because it was the first building on the other side of the Harbor Freeway that we actually converted an empty space, obviously, into residential tower in Center City West. And that was a lot of work that you did. I mean, so again, I can't say how much I feel about your ability to make it happen, because you brought in planning, engineering, DOT, all the public works departments, and it actually got done. So thanks to you, Hamid. And thank you. I always say this to the significant others of our employees. The sacrifice that you make as a family is truly appreciated, and maybe perhaps you can see more of him as the baby grows. So congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mr. Reyes. Mr. Huizar.
Thank you, and thank you very much, Hamid, for your service. I know that in downtown LA, people are hungry for creative ways to continue the renaissance that we're seeing there, and you brought forward not only the adaptive reuse policy, but a number of other creative ways to keep moving forward. So I want to thank you for that, and thank you for your outreach. A lot of what's happening down there, a lot of people probably wouldn't know about unless you go out and you try to publicize that as much as possible so people know that we are in the move downtown, and you've been great to work with this past year. I wish you much success, and on behalf of the Angelinos, for the City of Los Angeles, and people in downtown, thank you so much for the work you've done and are going to do. It's not over, and you're going to do. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, and thank you on my behalf as well, Hamid, for the extraordinary work you did. And you touched Hollywood as well, and worked in different administrations. And one, just as Bill Fujioka today, one of the things we all rely on is the constants here in Los Angeles, the innovators, the thinkers, the people who care most about the bottom line and getting things done. And it was extraordinary not only what you got done, but how well you communicated it. And that's half the battle too, letting people know that things are on the move in downtown, and Councilwoman Perry, and Councilman Huizar's districts, in our own districts. And so we are very much indebted to you, and we look forward to many years working together. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, honorable council members, America must be the land of opportunity. I came to this country 21 years ago without being even able to speak English, and here we are in front of the council of the second largest city in the United States of America, and I've been honored for what you're doing to me today. I could have been probably prosecuted back where I came from, and that's one thing that all of us take it for granted on a daily basis, but some of us who have come from a different background realize what it means. The opportunity was given to me to create what I created with 11,500 units of housing for the city, 4,300 of them being built, 4,200 under construction, 3,500 in the pipeline. I think that's quite an accomplishment, but I could never ever done that without the support of the council member, the mayor's office, and the entire City of Los Angeles department. So for that opportunity, I like to appreciate it, and hopefully I'll be staying in touch with downtown and city family to get more things done. Thank you very much, and I would love to, of course, my good friend and council member, Jan Perry, that always has been behind me. If it wasn't because of her support, and the downtown revolution would have never ever happened. I worked with the Councilman Reyes, Councilman Huizar, and many other council members, Councilmember Smith, of course, in the past, to make these things happen. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. And as I'm calling up Councilmember Ryan for our final presentation, colleagues, we do have 12 members, and I'd like to take up item 28, which is the only ordinance that requires 12 members. I want to see if there's anybody who wishes to be heard on 28. If not, if we can please open the roll on item number 28. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Back to the presentations. Mr. Zine. Forthwith on that if there's no objection. Thanks.
I'm Councilman Ed Reyes and Mr. Bob Sutton. Robert H. Sutton, Deputy Director of the City Planning Department, has had a distinguished and productive career with the City of Los Angeles. 36 years. Started as a child. Attended University of Southern California, began his career in 1966 as a student professional worker in the Planning and Research section of the Los Angeles Police Department. Well, he didn't want a career in law enforcement.
Wasn't tall enough.
He wasn't tall enough. I didn't want to say that. Did you really want to be a police officer?
No.
Okay, all right.
Fireman, maybe.
Fireman, okay. You and Tom LaBonge, fireman. The full-time job as a planning assistant in September 1970, promoted to city planning associate in 1973, city planner in 1977, and senior planner in 1984. Career really blossomed in 1985 in response to a lawsuit filed by the Federation of Hillside and Canyon Association, resulting in a settlement agreement which involved rezoning half the city within a 2-year period of time. Characterized as a leader in the department in establishing the general plan zoning consistency program with an initial staff of 1 planner and 1 cartographer. What did I say, cartographer? Cartographer. Eventually expanding the staff to 50 and 2 consultant contracts. transform the historic hand-drawn.
Hand-drawn.
Hand-drawn?
The old days were hand-drawn.
That's amazing. World of Planning into the modern geographic information system, subsequently promoted from the associate zoning administrator to principal city planner. As the zoning consistency work was largely completed, he was appointed as the deputy director in 1991, where he managed and supervised the preparation and adoption of revised community plans for the entire city and virtually all of the existing specific plans, historic preservation areas, and community design overlays. People don't understand there's all those different layers in planning, but there are. Bob Sutton is known for standing up for sound planning principles in the face of opposing forces and encouraging staff to find acceptable common ground in various land use disputes. And God knows there's a number of those. Bob's memory rarely falters. He can remember names, dates, track numbers of cases and events from his earliest days in the department, and as deputy director presides during the transition from the old city charter to the present charter, as well as serving with several planning directors and city planning commissioners. City of Los Angeles congratulates you for your invaluable 36 years of outstanding service and wishes you and your wife, Terry, who love to go to a nice Italian restaurant on Ventura Boulevard, where we have dined together, peace, happiness, and good health in retirement. And I know you're a constituent of my district, of the Western San Fernando Valley, because I see you at that lovely Italian restaurant where we dine on lovely Italian food. In fact, the last two times I've been there, you've been there.
That's correct.
And now I want my colleague, who is the Plum chairperson, Ed Reyes, for some words on Bob's retirement. Eddie.
Thank you, Dennis. Give Councilor Zion a round of applause. Both Tom LaBonge and Dennis were saying we're going to present the shirt to Bob. I said, great. As chair of Plum, I want to participate. Dennis insisting it's a constituent. He wants people to acknowledge his great work over all these years. But I also have a unique perspective in that I used to work for Bob many years ago, and we saw each other's careers develop and move in directions that saw a lot of challenges, a lot of tensions, a lot of changes. But I can't help but admire his tenacity, his strength, even after some serious operations and physical ailments, he would still take that trip out from the valley, come to work, and do what he needed to get done. And despite what I like to call the creative tensions, we continue to move forward. So as a professional, as a gentleman, he was able to move the different work programs he felt were most important, and was a master at trying to address the 15, some might say fiefdoms of the city, and still recognize the mayor for all of their work. So for his tenacity, strength, and all of his accomplishments, I do want to say thank you to Mr. Sutton, and congratulations for all your accomplishments. Thank you, Bob.
And when you think about how large the department is, this is the planning department behind us. These few people have planning for the entire city of Los Angeles. Incredible task by the small staff of personnel. It's amazing. Bob Sutton.
Majority of the staff is holding hearings, that's why they're not here. I want to first thank the council for their resolution. The success of my career would not have happened without the hardworking members of the planning department. The job has only gotten more thankless as time has gone on. When I graduated with a master's degree in planning from USC, I was told the last place I wanted to work was either the city or the county of LA. They were wrong. It has been a privilege and mostly enjoyable to work for the city. I've had the opportunity to work on some very important projects over the years. Everything from Warner Center, Sherman Oaks Galleria, Ventura Boulevard Specific Plan, Century City, the LA Sports Entertainment District, the Coliseum, AB 283, and Zemus. I can tell you, though, that it's been great not taking the freeway in at 6:30 in the morning, and then again at night. I've gained 2 to 2.5 hours of personal time every day, and I really love that change in my life. Lastly, and most importantly, I want to thank my family, Keith, Greg, and Terry, who let me do my thing, sometimes well into the night. I wish the department and the city all the luck in the future. Thank you again.
And I didn't see her standing there, Gail Goldberg, General Manager of Planning.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the Planning Department and the staff, we all want to thank Bob for not only 36 years of service to the City of Los Angeles and to the Planning Department, but Bob is certainly one of the most devoted, most tenacious, and hardest working people that we have ever had. He sets a very high standard for the rest of us, and we wish him well in his retirement. Have a wonderful retirement, Bob.
Thank you, Bob. And you still live in the West San Fernando Valley, so we still have Warner Center to complete that project. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. If we can run through the agenda, please. And then we'll come back to public comment.
First item is approval of the minutes.
Mr. Cardenas moves and Mr. Park seconds. If there's no objection, those will be approved. Next order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Oh, I think we just approved the minutes.
First items on the agenda, Mr. President, is a request to continue several items. Item number 2, a request to continue that to January 30th.
Okay, is there any objection, colleagues, to continuing 2 till the 30th? If not, so ordered. Next item, please.
And Councilmember Parks is requesting to continue item number 15 to February 2nd.
Okay. Colleagues, any objection to continuing item 15 to the 2nd of February? If not, that will be continued till then.
And also a request to continue item 50 to Tuesday, which is January 23rd.
Okay, let's continue that till Wednesday if there's no objection. We had a couple council members who have requested that since they will not be here on Tuesday. So if there's no objection, we'll continue item 50 until Wednesday the 24th. Okay.
Items on the regular agenda, items for which public hearings have been held, items 1 through 7. Item number 2 has already been acted on, and committee reports have been submitted and distributed on items 5 and 6.
Okay. Colleagues, any specials from 1 or 3 through 7? Seeing none, let's open the roll on those items, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Those are approved. Next items, please.
Next items are items for which public hearings have not been held, items 8 through 17. 10 votes are required for consideration. Item number 15 has already been acted on.
Okay. Item 9 and 7, there are cards on.
Item 17.
I'm sorry, it's 17. And we do have a card on 15 as well.
And that was already continued to February 2nd.
So whoever wanted to speak on that, February 2nd, will next be taking that up. We'll open and close the public hearings on the other items. Colleagues, any specials? It's 8, 10 through 14, and 16. Seeing none, let's take up those items. Open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That is approved. Next items, please.
Next items are on the continuation agenda, items noticed for public hearings, items 18 through 23. The recommendation for council action would be to open the hearings and continue the hearings and ordinances to February 7th.
Okay, colleagues, if there's no objection, we will open those public hearings and continue the ordinances till the 7th of February. Next items, please.
Item number 24 is also a public hearing item, and the applicant consents to a continuance to June 13th.
Okay. We do have a card on that, but since the applicant has consented to a continuance, we will next take that up on the 13th then, if there's no objection to that continuation. Next item.
Item number 25 is also a public hearing item. An amending motion has been submitted and distributed to the council members, and I believe there is a card on that also.
I don't see a card on 25. Do you have one there, Madam Clerk? Otherwise, no, okay. I'll open and close the public hearing on that. I had one in the earlier one. Anybody wishing to call that special from the council? If not, let's open the roll on 25, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Those are approved. Next items.
Next items 26 through 49 are items for which public hearings have been held, and item 28 has already been acted on.
Okay. Anybody wishing to call? Oh, we do have, I'm sorry, it did come in. Oh, she doesn't, okay. Any specials, colleagues? Let's hold 26 and 27 on the desk as commissioners.
I was going to call 49 special.
Oh, they're not here, okay. I'm sorry.
49.
Sorry, Ms. Hahn?
49.
49 from Ms. Hahn. Okay. And Mr.
Yes,
Rosenthal?
38 for Mr. Zine.
Okay. Mr. Zine, 38. Any other special items, colleagues? All right, the commissioners on 26 and 27 are not here. Ms. Perry, Are we okay with taking that vote up without them? If I don't hear otherwise, we'll go ahead and then include them with this batch then. Let's go ahead and open the roll on the balance, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
Okay, those are approved. I'm sorry, on 45, I had written in my notes continuation till 23rd of January, is that correct?
Yes, the applicant consents to a continuance on that one.
Okay, do we need to reconsider that to do that? or-
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Let's reconsider 45, please. Open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
And if there's no objection, we will continue 45 until the 23rd of this month. Next items, please.
Next items are items for which public hearings have not been held, items 50 through 60. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay.
And I believe there's a request on item number 51 to withdraw that matter from the agenda.
That's correct. The city attorney's office requests that be withdrawn out of deference to a request from Kern County.
Okay, there's been a request from the city attorney's office to withdraw. Is there any objection to doing so? If not, I will move that, and that will be withdrawn without objection. Next items, anybody wishing to call special? We have cards on a number, we have 52 card, and we have 55, 56 in this batch, so we'll call those special for
And
cards in the
Mr.
public.
President, there is a substitute motion that has been distributed on item 59.
Okay, let's take that up with 59, if there's no objection. Any other specials? If not, let's open the roll on the balance, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
Those are approved. Next items, please.
Next items, Mr. President, are the closed session items, and I believe there's a request to continue items 61, 62, and 63 to next Wednesday, which is the 24th.
Okay. Is there any objection, colleagues, to continuing those till next Wednesday? If not, so ordered. Number 64, let's hold that on the desk for closed session, please. Okay.
Do you wish to take up public comment at this time, Mr. President?
Yes, let's take up public comment. Just before, I want to recognize Mr. Parks.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate you squeezing us in, but we have a very special day today. Alex Ford, who has put in almost 15 years in the city, is retiring. Today is her last day. And we had to tape her to a chair last night because she refused to come to the chamber. But one of the things is that she has done such a wonderful job in the 8th District. She worked for Mark Ridley Thomas in the field office and as an executive assistant in the office. When I came in, she had kind of flooded with the idea of retiring. We held on to her. She's now has made some dramatic change in life. She's moved very recently. She's getting married, and she's retiring, all within the next few months. And so we wanted to make sure that many of you worked with her for the last 14.8 years, and would like to just give her that acknowledgement that she deserves. A unique thing, shows you what a small world it is. My son and her daughter went to grade school together and had not seen her for a long while until I got in office, and so we're just appreciative that we were able to reestablish that relationship. And I wanted to make sure all the 8th District co-workers that are here to say really a goodbye, but yet we know that we have all Alex's phone numbers and we will be in touch with her. So we wanted to just acknowledge her and present her with a certificate from the City Council. You don't have to return the frame. I know you asked about that. Right, just to say, yeah, thank you very much, and you get to come up here and say a few words. Nope, right here. Here, take a picture. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Parks. I just want to say thanks to the City of Los Angeles for allowing me the opportunity to work for Council District 8. As Councilmember Parks have stated, I came to work with the city with then Councilmember Mark Ridley Thomas, and I was fortunate enough to continue to work here with Councilmember Bernard Parks. I first need to say that the Los Angeles City Clerk administrative staff are the best. I worked with them over the past 14 years, and I have nothing but praise for that staff. I also love working for Council District 8, and Council District 8 in going to the polls, managed to keep Councilmember Parks as part of the Los Angeles City family, and that is one of the greatest things that Council District 8 could have done. I thank the City of Los Angeles, and I will be seeing most of you around as I come into City Hall. Thank you.
And before you go, Mr. Dennis Zine would like to add his good wishes. Excuse me, just before you go, Dennis Zine would like to say something as well.
When I was a director with the Police Protective League and I met with then Councilmember Mark Lee Thomas, you were always at that desk, very willing, able to set up, to help coordinate, very cordial, and I always found intriguing your first name, Alex Zine Ford. And I wonder if there was a relationship, Alex Zine. I always said, Alex Zine there. So I wish you well in retirement. You've always been very, very gracious and very efficient and very determined to get the job done properly. So I'm glad that when Mark went up to Sacramento, Councilman Parks kept you on staff there, and now please enjoy the retirement. But I always find that relationship, hey, she has part of my name in her name, Alex Zine Ford. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Now go to public comment. Our first speaker will be Sylvia Lynn Hawkins. I'd like to invite you forward for general public comment at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Eric Cassetti. Again, my name is Ms. Hawkins. As an experienced worker for NJ and Son Funeral Home in Memphis, Tennessee, and Inglewood Cemetery in Los Angeles, and after my mother faked her funeral and death, I can't tell you if he, Devin Brown, is alive or dead. Since Louisiana Big Toe ruling hurricane, which is my power, my foot power shook again to inform everybody up to date that this is a good thing that is happening. Since Devin Brown and the Levy is dead, with no body count from President Bush, after being captured and kidnapped by El DeRoy Pettit and not shot dead by LAPD. Hawker 8 military will begin bombing and with missiles in all churches areas less than 5 months of my timetable set time. New laws will be given orders are set by ordinance and laws versus funeral fakers on embalming fluids, etc. All 58 states
I
of
believe
women.
she's off topic on the
This is
city
public
of...
comment.
Well, the city of Los Angeles jurisdiction, I don't think covers what you're talking about.
This is on anti-tradition. Thank you. All 58 states of women will be attacking all Muslim, Masons, and Nazis women. President Bush, this type of blackmail will not work in Los Angeles. Thank you very much, Mr. Eric Cassetti.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your comments today. Our next speaker is David Ewing.
Man, it is true, he's dead in the leaf. Keep laughing.
Good morning, council members.
Good morning, and thank you for your patience.
Good afternoon. My name is David Ewing, and I'm here as a Venice resident to give you an important update on Lincoln Place. First of all, as you may know, the remaining tenants have won the right to a jury trial on their evictions. The court ruled that there is sufficient evidence to question Aimco's good faith in invoking the Ellis Act. The trial date will be set in late March, and it will be a jury trial. The previously evicted tenants are also now in appeals court and are challenging Aimco's good faith. The outcome of this trial, if positive, will have a tremendous effect on the overall property prospects for the property. Meanwhile, last week, Aimco took down the barricades of building entrances and left doors of vacant apartments open for the 3-day weekend. We want to thank Bill Rosendahl for getting building and safety out first thing on Tuesday. It had an immediate effect. Aimco security went around and started locking doors right away. The tenants and their lawyers had been unable to get Aimco to do this. Lincoln Place, as you know, is a California state historic resource. It needs to be properly maintained and not allowed to deteriorate. The good news is that Chief Inspector Vaccaro says the buildings are overall in good shape and do not present a nuisance at the present time. In order to keep it that way, we have provided Building and Safety with a survey of maintenance and security problems, large and small, and we are providing this to Councilman Rosendahl here today. There is the potential for water damage and conditions that could create mold. Flammable liquids and debris present fire hazards. May I
can ask
finish
you
my
to conclude.
paragraph?
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead and conclude the sentence that you're on.
One building, 964 Elkland, has a leaking roof. It went into REAP last year and was referred to the city attorney for criminal prosecution.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I have to wind up right there. If there's anything you'd like to give to the guard, we'd be happy to read it as well. Thank you. Appreciate it. Laura Burns is our next speaker.
Good afternoon, council members. I'm going to continue what David Ewing was saying. Bill, one of the buildings has a leaking roof. We know that from one of the tenants, and that needs to be repaired, and Building Safety has told us that. There are also high winds, and some roofing materials come down, so those roofs need to be inspected. AIMCO, council members, has a history of deliberately allowing properties to deteriorate beyond the point of habitability, and has managed to get some condemned as a result. It's had a number of fires at properties, and it's been sued by the city of San Francisco for flagrant and persistent violations of the code that resulted in the largest settlement in the history on code enforceability in the city of San Francisco. Now, Los Angeles Section 8119.4 authorizes the superintendent of building and safety to declare Lincoln Place a vacant historical building and to require the owner to file what's called a statement of intent outlining the maintenance and security plan to protect the resource and to prevent it from becoming a nuisance. There's even a similar section that covers non-historic buildings. We urge you, Bill, we urge you all of council members to please have the building and safety superintendent use this authority. We know that you will work together with the Cultural Heritage Commission staff and Building and Safety to see that procedures are properly followed. So again, Bill, we want to thank you, and we want to thank your Chief of Staff, dear to my heart, Mike Bonin, for stepping in so fast, and we know that you'll continue to be vigilant. We urge all of you council members to give Bill your full support in marshaling whatever resources are necessary to make sure Lincoln Place remains in good condition as required by law and as the legal situation moves forward. Once again, this is very important that the court has found that there is a question as to whether AIMCO is acting in good faith in using the Ellis Act, and there will be a trial by jury, and the jury will decide whether they're acting in good faith or not. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll next go out to Van Nuys, and our next speaker is Zuma Dog.
And I, too, would like to echo what those last two speakers said. AMCO, they should, are they going down? A jury trial, AMCO's going down, y'all, because there's no way their shady improprieties are going to get through the constituents. It's Zuma Dog, time for State of the City. We've been waiting for the mayor's State of the City. It's not here yet. First of all, I'd like to say, listen, we just beat you guys. April 4th, 2006, Zuma Dog walked into City Hall saying the Ordinance 4215 unconstitutional ban of the vendors on Venice was unconstitutional, overly broad, and was going to be overturned in court. And we've been coming here 9 months, and I'm proud to say this week a federal judge gave a preliminary ruling that indeed City Council's 4215 is overly broad, unconstitutional on its face, and Zuma Dog, Matt, and Mike will be back on the beach. And I'd like to say, shame on you, City Council. You've destroyed lives. Either Zuma Dog's smarter than you, or you're shady as hell, one or the other. You either knew it was unconstitutional or you didn't, and that is wrong, and lives were destroyed. People haven't fed their families. They didn't pay their rents. People are now more homeless. There's more welfare benefits. You messed it all up over there, and guess what? I shouldn't have even been here from day one won because it shouldn't have even had that damn ordinance, and you guys lose, and it shows how shady you are. And I'd like to say, now moving on to the DEA bust of the medical marijuana dispensaries that took place this week, Zuma Dog would like to say that those 11 that were busted were not businesses paying taxes that were regulated like the ones that you can find. There's a listing of proper medical marijuana dispensaries that's available on ganjagrocer.com. I know Dennis Zine has said that he doesn't have a listing of all the dispensaries. The 11 that were busted were operating as nonprofits. They weren't paying taxes. There's no invoices, there's no records, and there's no accountability, so good for closing those down. The ones throughout the city that Zuma Dog approves of are ones operating with business licenses and that pay taxes and are regulated. And if we have a little bit of zoning problems, if they're popping up too much, the city has to take control. There is a moratorium. That's fine till the dust settles.
Thank you, Mr. Dog. I know the clock isn't working out there, but that's 2 minutes there. We'll try to get that fixed, and thank you for your comments. Next, we have Candido Maris.
Thank you, Mr. President, council members. I believe today and this week the city of Los Angeles, the mayor, and this council has finally declared war on gangs. Mr. President, I was here since 1991, and I remember when then Councilman Burnson tried to make parks safe, and they said no to that because he felt that the parks were a haven for gangs, and that didn't happen. We tried to stop it in the schools. I was here when Stephanie McEwen was killed because her family turned down the wrong street. And just recently in your district, Ms. Hahn, Cheryl Green was killed. And the sad part about it is the gang members think they own that street. They don't own it. You own it. Your constituents own it. And how dare they say that they will open up those streets. So I want to thank you. A lot of times the newspapers come after you, but I really, truly feel that you folks are really going to deal with this issue. I've been here for 15 years. I'm going to be here another 15 years. I don't want to see this happen anymore. Thank you, Mr. President, council members. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're on the right track.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maris. Next speaker is Matt Dowd.
Hey, thank you very much. I just want to make a couple of points today. First of all, Steve Harvey, it's great to see him here. He made a valid point that God is inextricably intertwined in everything, and I can prove that. Because he said that Jan Perry, Herb Wesson, Steve Harvey, they're all from Cleveland, right? Well, guess who else is from Cleveland? You just saw him at Van Nuys, Zuma Dog. So you got that in common. Isn't that a lovely coincidence? Huh? We love Cleveland, and that was the smartest move you ever made, leaving that town, from what I hear. I've never been there, but sometime maybe I'll be able to afford it on my income. The other thing I want to point out is the rules of decorum. Yeah, this is where it gets juicy, folks, if you're watching at home, because they're trying to shut us down. But see, God's last little twist is that I'm here with Mike Hunt. And I'm allowed to say that. Me and Mike Hunt are here. And we fought this, and nobody listened. But isn't that funny? I'd like to thank God for that little twist. It's beautiful. It's so poetic. In fact, it's so poetic, I'm going to give up my last 30 seconds.
Our next speaker is Michael Hunt.
Thank you, guys. Time and time again, I've been down here, and it's about time for me to leave. And I hope that we all have learned lessons here. It's really invaluable to me that everybody's First Amendment rights be protected here, no matter what color, creed, or whatever the purpose is, that we all be protected here. I don't know if you guys understood my point. My point was that my First Amendment and my civil rights be protected as an individual and as a human being. The First Amendment rights don't change because of ordinance. I think that it's time for City Council to really wake up and chew out the city attorney for even bringing a measure to put you guys in that position. I think that was very, very, very very abusive. You guys say that my language is abusive, but the city ordinance that they're putting in front of you guys are very abusive. The Honorable Dean Pragerson told the city attorney's office that whatever inextricably intertwines with our heritage and at the beach is permitted. And I've been trying to tell you guys that as well. I've got a lot of flack from you guys regarding the ordinance, but I am African American and I do sell African American shea butter. And it is illegal what I do, and you guys violated my First Right amendments and my civil rights. All I want for you guys to do is return it and restore it. And, you know, you can't take it back the 25 times I went to jail, but at least you can restore what you guys did in good faith. Thank you, Michael Hunt.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who wishes to be heard in public comment who's not been heard? All right, that closes our public comment. Thank you. If we can go to the special meeting agenda, please call the roll.
Cardenas, Gruel, Han, Weezer, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Smith, Weiss, Wesson, Zine, Garcetti, 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, first order of business.
First item on the agenda is a Personnel Committee report, and it's confirmation of Ms. Katie Buckland to the Commission on the Status of Women.
I want to thank Ms. Buckland for her patience. If she'd like to come forward at this time to the table here. And I know Mr. Labange, who's excused on city business, would no doubt say some kind words, and this went through committee. I want to see Ms. Gruel, if she'd like to speak first, and then Mr. Rosendahl, and then Mr. Zine.
Thank you very much, Mr. Garcetti, and I will be brief because it is 12:30. You've been here for a long time, but I just want to add my approval to Katie's recommendation to be a member of the Commission on the Status of Women. I think you're going to be an excellent voice, not only because of your long history in women's rights issues as now the head of the California Women's Law Center, your work in the city attorney's office, but someone who has always spoken out on issues important to women. And I think you're going to be a great addition to the Commission on the Status of Women. I know the three members on the council that are women look to the commission to come forward oftentimes with issues, and hope that the commission will develop some partnerships as well with the police department and fire department as we look at the challenges that they're facing in not only discrimination cases, but similarly relative to the hiring of women in those departments, and to making sure that we have enough women. And in fact, I was at an event the other night, and a statistic was thrown out, I don't know if it's true or not, but out of the entire employee base of the city of Los Angeles, that only 29% of them are women. Don't know if that's true. It'd be interesting maybe to work with the commission and the personnel department to see that, to see where we're missing women in some of those higher positions and try to encourage that. So I see the commission having a broad base in which they can have discussions and sometimes be the voice on that. So I just want to say thank you for your willingness to serve. You've consistently served the city of Los Angeles. This is just a new addition to that resume. So thank you, Katie, and I wholeheartedly support her nomination.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited about it.
Thank you. Mr. Rosendahl.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Tell me, why do you want to be a commissioner?
Well, I was particularly interested in the Commission on the Status of Women. I wasn't going for any possible commission, and I was very flattered when the mayor's office called based on my past experience. So I spent many years as a domestic violence prosecutor. I spent another few years organizing all the women's groups within California, and I currently head the California Women's Law Center.
And what's your vision of your role on this commission and the commission itself?
To bring ideas to the commission on ways that the commission can help improve the lives of the women in Los Angeles, and to serve the council as well.
I have said this before. Another of your colleagues came before here. What's your feel? We spend a lot of time, and I absolutely agree that women are equal to men. and we should have women in every level of government. It should be a lot of parity in the business community. In fact, we should have a woman president someday, and I hope it's sooner rather than later. And I think women should get paid the same as men for equal work and all of those kinds of things. But what's your feeling towards the senior women who are suffering because our senior programs are really not reaching them to the degree that they need to be reached? And what special energies will you put towards seniors?
That is a major effort of the Law Center right now. And in fact, we just published a guide for senior women telling them how to deal with their legal rights relative to their employment and their health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Because breast cancer and other diseases disproportionately strike women over the age of 50.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're making a special effort to let them know exactly what their legal rights are, and it's a major focus right now.
That's excellent, but I'd also like to tie the Department of Aging's other issues, like I have a lot of women who have lunches, brought to them, Meals on Wheels or group lunches, and there's all kinds of concerns about not getting enough support. Frankly, anecdotally, I went to the Vera Center there, Davis Vera Center on California in my district there in Venice, and this was a Latino group of men and women, but seniors, and they were asking me, could I provide them a lunch a week? And it starts to make me realize that we're not focusing enough on seniors, be they women or men, but women who are the nurturers, and frankly, they're the ones that provide the atmosphere for the men. We need to put more attention on seniors, and I look forward to you moving in that direction, and the Commission moving in that direction, and asking the Department of Aging to come in and talk to you about what programs they have specifically that impact senior women.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Thank you very much. Congratulations for stepping up. We appreciate it as a city.
Mr. Zine.
Yes, Ms. Buckland, I saw you in Personnel Committee a couple days ago, and I told you you're going to get grilled there, so we don't need to do it again because we handled it up there. So your reputation, your credentials speak for themselves, so it's a wonderful commission that I'm sure you'll enjoy, and wish you good luck in that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Anybody else wishing to be heard? I want to congratulate you as well on the nomination. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and make it official.
10 ayes.
Congratulations, Commissioner. Look forward to your service, and thank you for your patience this morning. Congratulations. Next item?
And that's the only item on the special meeting, Mr. President.
We'll return to the regular meeting now. First item.
Next item is item number 9, and that was called special for cards from the public.
All right, Mr. Zuma Dog, number 9.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, first of all, taxpayers, mayor, and council for my private chambers. As you can see, and I'd like to invite everybody to come out to join Zuma Dog for some public comment and expose the fraudulent waste and abuse of the city right here in Van Nuys. Don't complain unless you show up. Now we're talking about special events, and in general, I'd just like to say, all these shady things keep coming through. Let me pull out the Jack Weiss memo from 2002 in January. Jack Weiss is concerned that these special event fees are being abused by council. When you waive the fees, you're basically giving a donation to these people, and it's supposed to be used for nonprofit organizations open to the public events and the benefit of the community. And things like commercialized parades and these institutions you make the money to, that is not what this is in the spirit of. And then what happens is when the true community leaders come out to want to have an event and they want the special event fee, they hit up the council members, then they say, gee, we don't have the money for that. We just gave it all to Dick Clark for the American Music Awards or for the Grammy Awards or for the Vanity Fair Party or for the Academy Awards or for the Dodgers or for the Lakers or for all these things that are making money hand over fist, y'all. And Zuma Dog would like to say is a New Year's resolution, why don't you please make a resolution to save the money for these special event fees and put them back into the community for youth programs, for after-school programs, for events that uplift the community instead of uplifting your shady special interest campaign contributors. Zuma Dog, I'm reeling your fake. I'm a much better dancer than Justin Timberlake.
Sir, if you can please address the council in a more dignified manner, please. You still have 25 seconds left. Mr. Dog, anything else? All right.
Y'all, hello, hello.
Yep, go ahead. Continue. We can hear you.
Y'all. Yeah. Okay, I'll try to be a little about. Oh, you're worried about my dignified manner. I'm worried about your
There's a second warning,
I'm not the one
Mr. Dog.
stealing all the money out of the nonprofit organizations.
All right. Thank you. You've made that point, Mr. Dog, and it's not the content, it's the manner. So thank you again for your comments. If we can Open the roll on item number 9. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
Ayes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Item 17, call special for cards from the public.
Okay, Mr. Dowd, like to come forward?
Okay, yeah, thank you. Speaking of dignified, nice to see the Venice Drum Circle coming in here today. Just like the Venice Drum Circle, everybody, that kind of talent every Sunday night. This is a extension of an interim control ordinance. We love these. Greg Smith, second best thing I've heard you do in the last couple of days, along with the earthquake rating on the buildings. I'm all for that. That's public safety. That's real public safety. I want to know, too, if these buildings here haven't been inspected. Steel frames, broken welds, at least, 2/3 of the welds are damaged, they say, and that's like cracked or even worse, and they haven't even been inspected. They might be still standing now, but they're weak.
Is this on topic, Mr. President?
Yes, he's speaking right now to the interim control ordinance.
Okay, yeah, let me address the councilman. Well, I'm not going to address him directly, but I want the council to acknowledge Mr. Greg Smith for this one. And I'll talk about the bad idea he's coming up with, but I'll probably get shut down by the city attorney if I get onto that one.
You can do that
So
in
for
general
now, it's
public
all good.
comment or when it's agendized. but-
It's all good. Thank you.
Appreciate your comments. If we can open the roll on this item, close the roll and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Item number 38, call special by Councilmember Zine.
Councilman Dennis Zine, I'd like to recognize you for 38.
Matter has been handled. Thank
Been
you.
handled? All right. If you're ready for a vote, and if no one else, council wishes to be heard, let's open the roll on 38, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Next item is 15, and that, 49, and that was called special by Councilmember Han.
Okay. Ms. Hahn, we have item number 49.
I see that. Yeah, I don't know if we have anybody here from Department of oh, there, it's Lisa.
They're coming up.
Good. Colleagues, this is an item that we heard in Education in Neighborhoods, and it was a decision by Dunn to change banks, so to speak, on the issue of who does the banking services for the neighborhood councils. And as you know, our neighborhood councils have everything from their debit card to, proper expenditures that they can use the money for, and there was a sense that our neighborhood councils weren't being given the kind of service that actually they could. So it was a decision to change to U.S. Bank. I had some questions in committee about that. This bank is not located in Los Angeles, so I had some issues in terms of was that really the best choice for a Los Angeles network of neighborhood councils. But maybe I'll let Lisa even talk about some of the concerns I had, and I thought you answered them very well in committee, and then I'll say something after Lisa's talks. Hold my time, please. Hold my
Good
time,
afternoon,
please.
council members. Lisa Sano, Interim General Manager of the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. Just a little background again, as Councilmember Hahn said. On June 6, 2005, the Education Neighborhoods Committee asked the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment and the Treasurer's Office to review, if you will, the bank and the funding system for our neighborhood council system. And with that, our office, the Treasurer's Office, actually went out and did an RFP. So I'll let our Treasurer's Office actually explain that process.
I'm Mark Renato from the Treasurer's Office. We conducted a preliminary review of, well, first of all, we sent an RFP out to 7 banking institutions, and we received 5 proposals back. Of those 5, we selected 2 of the 5, and of the 2, we worked with Dunn to see which bank provided the best services for the product that they were going to use. And in this case, we utilized the purchasing card, and we selected U.S. Bank because they had the best services out there. They had the best reporting mechanisms and tools so that they can provide the service to the neighborhood councils.
And just so that, for making sure that there's clarification purposes. Throughout the entire process, our department and our funding unit was in communication with the treasurers who actually work with the funding on behalf of their neighborhood councils. Throughout the entire process, we've been hearing over the course of the last several years what their needs are and the real-time access of accounting and of financial information that was lacking in the system with Bank of America. So in looking at the proposals that were returned, we actually had demonstrations from the banks that we were looking at and reviewing, and also asking them, because now we had a track record of what the needs are for our neighborhood councils, and U.S. Bank was the one that stepped up and actually provided us with the additional services. But I'll ask Kevin McNeely, who heads up our funding unit, to explain more.
Good afternoon. Various aspects were brought to our attention over the past few years with the neighborhood councils and the banking. One is enhanced customer service. U.S. Bank is going to provide 24/7 customer service to the NC so they can call the bank directly. That's something that isn't available right now. Also, additional opportunities to withdraw funds as needed per month. That's something that's been asked for quite a long time by neighborhood councils. This will provide that. And enhanced real-time reporting capability that the neighborhood councils and our department, as well as the controller, will be able to see all the transactions in real time. And that will be a huge help for neighborhood councils in tracking their expenses.
And it also speaks to the transparency, if you will, of how the funds are being used, and also our ability to put that information up publicly on our website so that their stakeholders can also see that information.
Good. Well, thank you. And colleagues, again, this was a decision that was made with input from particularly the people in the neighborhood councils who deal with this, and that's the treasurers. And the 912 Commission, of course, will be looking broadly at all of the issues of financial transactions and city money and how that's used and if that's appropriate. And that's one of the issues that the 912 Commission will be taking up. And I love the idea about 24/7 customer service because I think that's very important. One of the concerns we've heard from neighborhood councils is when they have questions, sometimes it takes a while to get the answer back. And I think that's really critical to empower these groups, that they're able to have their questions and concerns answered, in a timely manner. One of the things I would suggest for U.S. Bank, and Lisa, maybe that's something you could request of them, is that in April at the Congress of Neighborhoods, I think that would be a perfect place for U.S. Bank to come. Maybe they set up a booth, maybe they have an opportunity to meet people, to interact with neighborhood councils. I mean, it's one thing to be on the phone or 24/7, and we're not even sure where those calls are routed to. Most of those are now routed to India, those customer service calls. So I think it would really be important. I mean, neighborhood councils in Los Angeles is such a unique group of people, and it really has the flavor of LA. So I think that would be a great opportunity for them to be there for that day, answer questions, and be available. Because as we know, the treasurers also change on a regular basis at neighborhood councils, and somebody who is a secretary today may be the treasurer tomorrow. And I think it's good to put a face and a personality with this kind of service for neighborhood councils. So I would just recommend that. I think it would be a great opportunity for them.
Councilman Mahan, that is a wonderful recommendation, and we definitely will ask our partners, U.S. Bank, to have that workshop available for all of our neighborhood councils. And just so that you know, the department is also enhancing our training, and in the past it's been a requirement for our treasurers only, but we've broadened that scope, and we're asking all neighborhood council board members to come and learn the inner workings of how the funding mechanism works on behalf of their neighborhood council.
And it might be also useful to the 912 Commission to get some maybe initial feedback from U.S. Bank. I mean, I know they haven't been in this relationship very long, but I do think they might provide just in a short term what they have seen, what they've heard, even maybe what their experiences is, and they might have some interesting ideas for the 912 Commission as we move forward and look at the entire financial workings of our neighborhood councils.
I will talk to Rafe.
Okay.
And inquire if that is a possibility before the 9/12 Commission.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Rosendahl.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I want to thank my colleague Janice Hahn for the leadership you've been providing in neighborhood councils since I've been on this council, and you have a passion for the democracy and the grassroots expression of it, so hats off to you and everything you just said, and I second what you said. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing?
Good, Councilman.
Good. Tell me, this relationship with the bank, can I have access to an audit of the money spent in my district by my neighborhood councils?
We can provide that for you. We could do a breakdown of what has been spent by the NCs in your district.
Fabulous. Second thing is, we give them $50,000 a year?
Yes.
Are there any parameters on what they can spend it on?
Yes, we have guidelines that are provided in the treasurer training as well as on our online PowerPoint presentation as to acceptable and unacceptable purchases. Things obviously like liquor are unacceptable. The general parameters of the program are that the funding is supposed to be spent on either operational expenses, neighborhood improvements, or the outreach efforts.
I mean, it's a sacred trust. It's the people's money. And so when you get the people's money, we have to know absolutely everything about how it's spent.
Yes.
On your website, does it have the criteria and the lists of what it can be spent on and not spent, so there's clarity among?
Yes, sir. Yes, it is
councils?
there. Yes.
And actually, Councilmember, if I may, we're taking it one step further. Actually, there will be letters going out to all of our neighborhood councils, specifically talking about what is in their current account and the funding as far as a 3-year rollover period. What we're also doing this year is making them aware of some of the other neighborhood councils and what some of their community improvement projects may have been as best practices. And we're also including an attachment that speaks directly to Councilmember Smith's personal services, what he implemented with Public Works, and it gives information on how neighborhood councils can actually hire city crews to go out and help and beautify their communities.
It's terrific. You said 3-year rollover. Explain what that's about.
In a understanding we had with the CAO's office, the neighborhood councils have up to 3 full fiscal years to spend their allocation of $50,000. And if any part of the allocation has not been spent, at the end of that time, it would revert back to the general fund. So we're going, as Lisa was just saying, we're going to be reminding them of the money that could potentially revert at the end of this fiscal year and to try to assist them to find worthy projects to perhaps spend those funds so that they don't revert.
So now it's 50 grand a year?
Yes.
And then if you don't spend it, that accumulates? And,
yes.
But if you don't spend it within 3 years, whatever the 50-50, you
yes.
have to return it back?
Yes.
I just want to ask another question, taking advantage of your moment here. The 9/12 Commission came to the Waldgrove Elementary School. I was there. I'm very proud of the process. Would you share with us, you have 7 hearings of the first entry, come back, take a deep breath, come back with something else for another 7 hearings. Explain a little bit.
Although this is an issue, agenda item regarding the funding program, so I don't know how much more they could expand the...
Cool enough. See how far she can go with it.
The Department of Neighborhood Empowerment right now is assisting, if
Just
you
tie
will.
it to the money thing a little bit for his benefit. Yeah.
I don't know how I can do that right now, Councilman.
Well, like the cost of the event itself, right?
Actually, we do not have oversight on the 9/12 Commission and their public hearings. They're independent and autonomous from the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. They have an executive director, Dr. Rafe Sonnenschein, who is actually working with the 9/12 commissioners to put together those public hearings. I'm being given...
Fair enough. Fair enough. You got close enough. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rosendahl. Anybody else wishing to be heard? If not, let's go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Thank you very much. Thank you, City Staff, for your input. Next item, please.
Item number 52, call special for a card from the public.
Mr. Dowd, on item 52.
Yeah, thank you. My turn on the special event fee waivers. And I'd like to ask the council to tell Mr. Rosendahl that close enough sometimes is not good enough. And we can testify to that. But yeah, these ones, let me just run through what we're paying for. You know what I'd like to get is from someone from CD8 to just tell us about the 6th annual MLK bike race. Cost us $18,000. I just want to know who the winner is. Thank you, Mr. Parks.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to be heard on this item? If not, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
And that is approved. Next item, please.
Item 55, call special for cards from the public.
All right, Mr. Dog on Van Nuys, item number 55.
Yeah, try to have a little more dignity. I think it's crazy you try to enforce someone for dignity, but this is item number 55, and it is relative to...
I'll just clarify, and we'll save your time then, if you wouldn't dance around when you're speaking, and if you can try to just keep your voice not too loud, it makes it more difficult for us to understand as well.
Well, you know, first of all, the clock is still ticking. The clock was ticking that whole time.
I told you I'd give you the time, don't worry.
All right, well, let me get started on something real besides you trying to squelch Zuma Dog with things like 2-year stay-away orders. This is about the port, Senate. Let's talk about something good in L.A. We got the port. It's the biggest thing that's going on in the city, state, and region, and the port is responsible for 40% of all U.S. goods, and this says they want to have some street banners identifying the port, and I say we got to rally around the ports of Los Angeles is the best thing this region has. We got to fix the infrastructures so we can get them goods through the region and through the rest of the country. Then ports is responsible for 40% of all U.S. goods coming in because manufacturing's left America. It's gone overseas into China and Asia and all that and India. So this is how we bring it back. So we need to, that guy that was approved about the tourism, he said focus on pleasing Asia, and so get them street banners so people in Asia can know where the ports are. And again, I'd like to plead to City Council. As you know, I'm writing for the LA Weekly and doing articles on much bigger things than the little old city of Los Angeles. And Los Angeles needs to focus on the ports of Los Angeles and do everything possible to get as much of that business, much of the tourism, much of the dollars that's coming through internationally, because Los Angeles is getting its butt kicked in the global economy because we have no education and the people aren't able to compete with the high-end jobs, so all we got left is the ports. City Council, rally around the ports of Los Angeles and do everything you can, include voting for the street banner, so we can help the country move goods through the region and through the rest of the country. Zuma Dog, yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much. Any council members wishing to be heard on this? If not, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Item 56, call special for cards from the public.
All right, we have item number 56. Is this Mr. Hunt? It says Deep South 81. Is that Mr. Dowd? Matthew Dowd.
Deep South 81. Okay, I know you got a closed session, a few items coming up, and yeah, this one, honestly, I do have to make a mention of because it's there's some shadiness in the language. It says utilize $15,000. Okay, let's utilize it, but I think utilities kind of a vague thing right now in the city. So utilize $15,000 in the blah, 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 to fund any aspect of the California Department of Transportation construction of a concrete slope. Now this says it's Caltrans construction of a slope beneath the freeway intersecting Hollenbeck Park and Boyle Heights. And it says, direct the city clerk to prepare the necessary document and payment to Caltrans to execute any documents on behalf of the city. So who is paying for this? And it kind of sounds like this money can just be utilized any old how, and we're gonna ask the city to make sure that anybody can do whatever they want with the money. That's how it looks. I could be wrong, of course.
Thank you. That closes public comment. Anybody wishing to be heard from council on this one? Seeing none, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Next item, Mr. President, is Special 1, introduced by Councilmember Zion, and the city attorney will speak to the findings.
Okay. Mr. City Attorney on the findings.
Thank you, Mr. President. On December 19th, the City Council adopted a motion recommending that the City Attorney's Office consider hiring outside counsel to assist in the city's defense in the Tenney Pierce litigation. Due to the impending March 16th trial date, the office conducted an accelerated RFP process, interviewing 10 firms last week, and the office completed the selection process yesterday, selecting the Jones Day law firm. Due to the March 16th trial date, with its pretrial deadlines, immediate action is required to retain the law firm, transfer funds, and act on the conflict waiver. Council must first make findings pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.2 before considering the substantive motion.
Anybody on the findings? If not, let's go ahead and open the roll on the findings, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That is now before us under our Rule 23 of Council rules, and I'd like to recognize Mr. Zine.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be brief on this matter. It's the Tenny Pierce case. We recommended that outside counsel be brought forward to the city attorney's office, and this makes that procedure appropriate. The firm that was selected is premier in this particular field of law, and there's a recommendation that we would ask to support that this firm be given that outside counsel to the city attorney's office on that Tenny Pierce case. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Zine. Anybody else wishing to be heard on this item? Mr. Parks.
I would just like to say that in looking at this, I think we've gone through this a great deal, but I think from the attorneys that were here before that her charge is up between $750 and $1 million. This adds another $750, and we're late in the game because the judge refused to have the case continued for this attorney to even get up to speed. And so as we move forward, we're getting very close to the 2.7 that was originally recommended for settlement, with little time to really use this outside attorney. So I just believe that we are putting money behind something to where the likelihood of a settlement coming below 2.7 is probably 50-50. You're not going to get there, and we're at 1 point something already, 1.7 or something right now, just on attorney's fees. And so we've not even gotten into the litigation liability. And from my background and understanding, the worst thing we can do is go to court and ask the court to tell us what we should pay. We already acknowledged the liability. That's what the court is for. But we are going in there saying there's significant liability, now tell us what we should pay. I think we're going down the wrong path.
Anybody else wishing to be heard on this?
Mr. Zine again.
Mr. Zine, for a second time? No, it was an accident, a mistake, something he regrets. He wishes it hadn't happened. All right. Anybody else wishing to be heard? If not, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
9 ayes, 1 no.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Mr. President, do you wish to clear the desk before going into closed session?
Yes, please, let's clear the desk.
Council has motions for posting and referral.
Those are posted and referred.
Councilmember Perry requests to be excused January 26th and January 31st to leave at 11:15, and February 14th to arrive at noon for city business. Those meet council policy.
That excuse is granted.
Councilmember Zine requests to be excused Tuesday, January 23rd for city business. A motion is required.
How many members will that take us down to?
I believe it's 11.
11 members, okay, I'll move that. Mr. Zine seconds. If there's no objection, that excuse is granted.
And Councilmember Weiss requests to be excused on January 24th to arrive at 11:15, and February 2nd and 16th for personal business. A motion is required.
And again, what numbers will it go down to?
Again, it's 11.
It's down to 11, okay. Go ahead and move that. Mr. Zine will second again, and if there's no objection, those excuses will be granted.
And that clears the desk for closed session.
Okay, we'll now go into closed session in accordance with California state law to consider legal matters before us currently pending, and any actions we take that require public announcement, we will do as soon as we emerge from closed session. We'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back into open session. We have one item before us that we have taken a vote on.
Item number 64, and that settlement in the case of Michael Clapper et al. Versus City of Los Angeles, and the settlement amount is $325,000.
Okay. Anybody wishing to be heard in open session on that? Seeing none, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That is approved. Forthwith, if there's no objection. Now it's time for announcements, colleagues. Any announcements? I have one announcement that this weekend we will be doing a tree giveaway in Glassell Park tomorrow on Saturday. That will happen tomorrow at 12 o'clock at the Glassell Park District Office for Council District 13 and Glassell Park Recreation Center, right there where the public storage building is. We'll be giving away some fruit trees and some also shade trees, and I know Mr. Weezar's office is assisting and Mr. Reyes' office is assisting in that with the Glassell Park. So we invite folks to come out, and I believe the mayor is going to stop by as well at noon to give away free trees. Mr. Weezar?
Happy to see that you're fulfilling your commitment to plant 100,000 trees in your district, and I committed 101,000, and so you got a leg up now, and I'm going to get started and do our own in our district.
We'll split the ones tomorrow, don't worry. Mr. Parks?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just would like to share with you a notice that just came out from MTA that during the month of February, they're going to have 5 community meetings that will discuss and bring forward proposed changes in the public transportation system. And these changes, if approved by the Governance Council, will go into effect June 24th of '07. The 5 meetings, San Fernando Valley sector will have their meeting February 7th at Marvin Browdy at 6:30. The Gateway section on the east side of the city will have their meeting February 8th at the gas company on Firestone. South Base will have their meeting February 9th. Carson Community Center at 9:30 a.m. San Gabriel Valley sector will have their meeting February 12th at 6 p.m. at the SGV sector office on Santa Anita. And then the West Side Central sector will have their meeting February the 14th, 5 p.m. at the La Cienega Tennis Center. And this is very important meetings for those that rely on public transportation, because these are the changes that will go in effect but that input is important. Also for the 8th District, just like to advise that the Farmers Market will be open each Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Vision Theater parking lot in Leimert Park. And also for those during Black History Month, the Pan-African Film and Arts Festival will start February 8th through the 19th, and it will be at the Magic Johnson's Theater in Baldwin Hills.
Thank you. Mr. Reyes? Oh, okay. Also, another announcement, which is also kind of commemoration of a adjourning motion from 2 years ago. As you will recall, 2 years ago, the train derailment that occurred in Los Angeles-Glendale border with the Metrolink train. This will be the 2-year anniversary this weekend. And on Sunday, we will be dedicating a memorial to the survivors, the victims of that derailment and that crash. The mayor and myself will be up next to the Costco in Atwater Village. And I know Mr. Labange and I were on the scene that day, and it was a horrifying scene. And we had city family that was a part of that. We had city family that was involved as passengers, as well as some of the heroes and heroines that came to the rescue of the folks in that horrible day. So we invite members of the public to join us for a day of solemn remembrance and join us at 1 p.m. this Sunday in Atwater Village at the Costco site there off of Los Feliz. Other announcements? Mr. Stein?
Thank you, Mr. President. The Girl Scouts annual cookie sale will kick off this Saturday, 12 o'clock at Chatsworth High School. So when you see the Girl Scouts in front of the market selling the Girl Scout cookies, I understand trans fats have been taken out of Girl Scout cookies now, so they're healthy to eat, and help support the Girl Scouts by purchasing those cookies as they'll be coming around your neighborhoods with the annual cookie drive.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stein.
I'll be eating my share.
Will you eat your share?
No, I'll be eating my share.
Thank you very much. We would expect nothing less, Mr. Stein. If I can ask folks to then rise, please. Oh, yeah, sorry. If there's no objection, we have a few forthwiths on 14, 26, 27, 37, and 46. If nobody objects, we'll send those forthwith to the mayor. Thank you. If I can ask everybody to rise for adjourning motions. Colleagues, I first asked that we adjourn, and I meant to do this on Tuesday. My apologies for not. In memory of the mother of a member of our city family and our council family here, the mother of Anna Martinez, our council vote clerk, passed away. Agnes Mata Martinez, known fondly as Honey. She passed away on December 15th at the age of 86, surrounded by her entire family. She was a 45-year resident of Harbor City in the 15th Council District. Her husband, Celestino, and her son Artie and daughter Rachel preceded her in death. She's survived by her sons Mike, Leroy, Gilbert, and daughters Anna, Terry, and Peggy, and daughter-in-law Carol, all of Harbor City. Her legacy will continue through her 17 grandchildren and her 9 great-grandchildren. She will be dearly missed and beautifully remembered by those whose lives she touched. And for all of us here who know Anna and care very much for her, our sympathies are with you. May your mother rest in peace. Mr. Cardenas, all members on that. Mr. Cardenas.
Thank you. It's with great sadness that I announce that we please adjourn in the memory of Robert Robles, who passed away January 15, 2007 at the age of 82 from heart failure at Kaiser Permanente in Baldwin Park. Robert Robles was born in El Paso, Texas on December 22, 1924, and at the age of 2, he moved to Los Angeles and grew up in the Lincoln Heights area, where he attended Lincoln High School. Before graduating, he enlisted in the Marines and served in the infantry in the Philippine Islands during World War II. After the war, he was awarded his high school diploma, and he put himself through school to earn a degree in chiropractics and worked as a chiropractor for 5 years. He began working for McDonnell Douglas as a welder, promoted to a nuclear welder, and worked on the Mercury Project space capsule, the first manned capsule to orbit the Earth. After sustaining a back injury, he left McDonnell Douglas and became a real estate broker. With a perpetual thirst for knowledge, he took courses in management, computer programming, physical therapy, and many others. He was active in the Veterans of Foreign Wars as a lifetime member. Albert and his wife Emma purchased their first home in Elysian Valley in 1956, which they later converted into apartments that they still own today. He had a passion for voting and never missed an election, keeping up to date with the current events. He's survived by his wife Emma Vera Robles of 60 years, and 2 daughters, 5 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren. His daughter Lily Esparza and granddaughter Alexa Esparza are city employees, and some of his family members are present here today. Our condolences to your family. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us as well.
Yeah.
Ms. Gould?
I would also, thank you. Thank you, Council President. It's with great sadness that I announce the passing of Lily Urquidez Rodriguez, the wife of someone that many of us know, Blinky Rodriguez. She passed away Saturday, January 13, 2007, from natural causes. Lily Rodriguez was one of the most versatile heavy featherweights in women's boxing in the 1970s and 80s. She had made great strides and successes as a kickboxer and came from a very famous family that pioneered kickboxing. She was a very talented fighter, and she could excite crowds so much that they would literally throw money into the ring. Lily's career included being one of the first women to fight on all women boxing card in California on July 13, 1979. She also can be credited for fighting at the infamous Madison Square Garden, where the ABC Wide World of Sports covered the event. She fought at the Grand Olympic Auditorium, where she fought on cards that included such great legends as Alexis Aguero. Lily was in the limelight as she was featured on the show 2020. Those of us who know Lily and got to know her know that she had a tenacious but pleasant and wonderful personality. She definitely was tough. She was a world-renowned boxer and kickboxer. She's inducted in the Hall of Fame, and she was a pioneer, and she would go to different parts of this city and different parts of the world, and many young women would recognize her and look up to her. She definitely was someone to look up to, and I certainly have. She's survived by her husband of 35 years, William Blinky Rodriguez, and she's survived by her 6 children, David, Robert, Donovan, Sonny Gabriel, and Mia Arredondo, as well as 8 grandchildren. May she rest in peace.
Thank you. Ms. Gould?
I just want to add to that. She was quite a woman, and we saw her at many events with Blinky and spoke out about gang violence. And the taking of their child from gang violence. Really an extraordinary woman, and left us much too early, but her impact was felt, I think, by a number of young people and other mothers who were going through the same struggles. And she was very open to share her story, as is Blinky, with so many people. So our thoughts are with Blinky and the entire family.
Thank you very much. Are there adjourning motions? Ms. Hahn?
I want us to adjourn our meeting today in memory of Jim Cragen, who 82-year resident and native of Gardena, and ultimately a city council member there. He passed away peacefully with family members at his side this past Saturday after battling cancer. Jim proudly served the Navy during World War II and later worked as an insurance adjuster for 36 years. His interest in community service led to his being appointed to numerous civic commissions and committees and to 19 years of uninterrupted service as a member of Gardena City Council, including 3 terms as the Mayor Pro Tem. He also represented Gardena as chairman of the South Bay Cities Association, as vice president of Independent Cities Association, and he was vice chairman on the MTA board. In his political career, Jim was really known for his genuine concern for his constituents, his ethical standards in government, his love for the city of Gardena, and his service to the larger community. He was a member of the Elks Lodge, the Kiwanis Club, Veterans of Foreign Wars, American Legion, the Moose Lodge, and he was a lifelong sports enthusiast. He loved Notre Dame. And he was a prominent member of St. Anthony of Padua Catholic Church in Gardena, where he actually started out as an altar boy. The Cragans, Jim and Mary, were longtime friends of the Hahns. I think my dad probably appointed Jim to some of those commissions, and we've just been longtime friends, and I worked with Jim on a number of projects in Gardena. He is survived by his wife, Mary, his brother Harold, his daughter Carol, sons John, Gary, and Larry, 8 stepchildren, 23 grandchildren, and 7 great-grandchildren. He leaves a great legacy in the city of Gardena and LA County as a whole.
Thank you. Are there adjourning motions? Mr. Reyes, and then Mr. Zine.
I'd like to adjourn in memory of Charufa Wang Witsir Yi. She was also known as Jaja in the community. Jaja was the young girl, 9-year-old, who was killed over the holidays on East Kensington Road in Angelino Heights. Shortly before 8:30 p.m., Wednesday, December 20th, she was standing in the kitchen with her mother when gang members drove up to a house across the street and exchanged shots with rival gang members. A bullet tore through the front wall of her home, passed through the living room, and struck Jaja on the head. She was standing next to her mom. Her mother picked her up off the kitchen floor, carried the child to her car, and rushed her to Hollywood Presbyterian Hospital, where she later passed away. Today we introduced the motion for a $50,000 reward to help the officers who are trying to capture those who committed this heinous crime. Later that week, the community put together a demonstration of unity. We had a candlelight vigil in a rainy night. Over 100 individuals walked the streets and ended up at her home, where Patty Good, one of the leaders of the Angelino Heights, along with other community leaders, provided the parents a basket with money and gifts, and letting them know that they're not alone. But it's unfortunate that such a life can be taken away. And what's just as sad and as profound is that the mom struggled with the thought of bringing her 9-year-old here to get an education here. And so she had been in this country for 1 year, and her mom was very remorseful that this had to happen, and she brought her to this country for a better life. And this is what happens to their family. So I would hope that those who are listening, especially in the neighborhood of Angelino Heights, come forward. Let us know what happened that night. Help us find these criminals. Because every 9-year-old, every child in the neighborhoods will be feeling that danger, knowing that this could happen right outside their door. Thank you.
Thank you. If I can second that, yeah, Mr. Huizar and I will second that. Mr. Zine.
Yes, on Mr. Cardenas adjourning motion for Lily Rodriguez, the services are going to be Tuesday at the Church on the Way, 14300 Sherman Way, at 11 a.m. I have, pardon me? There's a memorial Monday night, and then the services Tuesday at 11. I have an adjourning motion for Dee Dee Rose Ward. Dee Dee was born April 18, 1954, to Henry and Rose Hampton, attended Holmes Avenue Elementary School, 92nd Street School, Charles Drew Junior High School, before graduating from David Starr Jordan High School in June of 1972. She joined the workforce and spent the succeeding years working for a variety of organizations, was a loyal employee of Sears and clerked for an insurance company. However, over 20 years, she worked a career as the executive officer of the Board of Supervisors of Los Angeles County. Dee Dee was a sensitive, warm, generous, caring, and fun-loving person. Everyone who knew her love for her family and boundless, was unconditional, and her support for the community. Greatly missed by all her family and friends. She is survived by her husband, Doran, daughter, Demia, her stepson, Doran, and a host of family and friends. I met Dee Dee as a member of the County Judicial Procedures Commission. She was the coordinator on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, and she was always so wonderful and gracious. And the last time I saw her was with our holiday luncheon that we had, and she was on the sidewalk in front of the restaurant, making sure that people didn't get lost as they entered the restaurant. Just a wonderful, sweet lady. May she rest in peace.
Thank you, Mr. Zine. Any other adjourning motions, colleagues? If not, we will next be in session on Tuesday, the 23rd of January, here in council chambers. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. This meeting of the Los Angeles City Council is adjourned. Thank you all and have a great weekend.
You're watching LA City View, Channel 35.
We now join